She's a primitive Jill.
There she is. There she is.
Welcome to Jill's.
Can I offer you some tea?
Good tea. Nice house.
Would you make me some of that Plomeek soup? Greetings and felicitations.
We go together or not at all?
Don't be a fool!
初出動ね。
Hello and welcome to Plomeek Teatime number 93. Today we're looking at something very different that I enjoyed immensely. I'd never seen this movie before. But Scotty R37, who's joined us today in the panel, showed me this trailer and I knew I had to see it. I agreed immediately to talk about this one, and I wasn't disappointed for even a second watching this. In fact, this movie was too absolutely awesome because it never lets up. You expect some kind of filler, but every single frame is extremely vital narratively the entire time. Lots of intrigue, and it's just incredible fun. I kept expecting at some point for something to turn. Usually there's something that bothers me about a movie or a TV show, even ones that I love. But I can't achieve that level of critique with this because it's, I don't know, is it a perfect movie? But what do I do with such a perfect movie? But I guess we can start exploring it. I just found out about Shin Ultraman this week, the Shin Ultraman 2022, but it's been around for a long time, since at least the 60s or
66, I think.
Yeah, I just found out about this entire universe and films and TVs, and I'm glad this was my introduction because it was completely captivating. It was directed by Shinji Higuchi, and I apologize now if I ever get any of these names wrong. Hideki Anno directed it with music by Shiro Sagisu. And this movie had a lot going against it because it was filmed during the time of the pandemic. So it was a little delayed in some of the production, but it eventually made it out to Japan on May 13th, 2022. And it seemed like it made money. It made $34 million. But wait, what was the budget? It doesn't say the budget. Let me see. I need to see the budget of.
All I know is that it made 4 billion yen, and I don't know the conversion.
Well, I just told you $34 million.
Okay. It's more fun to say 4 billion yen.
It is. You're right. Yeah, and the budget was 900 billion. 900 million yen. 900 million yen was the budget. Oh, but I need the conversion.
Do you want me to find out?
It is
Well, while you're looking at that, I did want to give Hungry Boy the biggest of ups in regards to this movie, because when it was released, he had seen it, and I was on a stream with him, and he had asked if I had seen it, and I had seen Shin Godzilla, and I really, really liked Shin Godzilla, but I had no experience with Ultraman. I had seen him before, but I didn't know anything about the story or the team or the world. And I said, oh, I'll give it a shot. And he had sent me a link so I could watch it. And so I watched it for the first time, and I was blown away. I think this is probably the best Superman movie that I've seen since the 1978 version. I love it as well. This is my first introduction, so there's going to be a lot of lore, and there's going to be a lot of backstory and references that happen in this movie. And the only reason I know about what those references are is through the research, as you do when you find a movie that you really love, and then you go to IMDb and you start watching sort of the making of on the Blu-ray, and you start checking all that stuff out, and then you find out how deep things go and the references and the care that was put into the movie.
This was made by people who love the Shin universe. They knew about it, and they made it come to life.
Well, the Shin universe is in Japanese. Apparently, one of the phonetic things is either true, not phonetic, but in the interpretation of the word it either means true or God. And so there have been 4 Shin movies, all with Anno having a hand in it, although there is some contention in terms of people call him an auteur, when it would be more accurate to say that he surrounds himself with very talented people to realize his vision. And so while he is the one who spearheads the Shin sort of revival, which are basically loving reboots or reimaginings of classic Japanese characters such as Godzilla, Kamen Rider, and Ultraman. It's not the Shin. The Shin universe is fairly recent. I think he also did because Anno was very much involved with Neon Genesis Evangelion, but I don't know anything about Evangelion.
That's interesting that it means God, because that's a theme that's brought up in this movie, that humans are worshiping this alien who has to remind them that, no, I'm not a god, and you've got to figure out how to do this stuff on your own. And I did, speaking of doing things on my own, I converted the yen to USD. So the movie cost less than $6 million to make and grossed $34 million. So that's pretty good.
Mm.
So that's good. And it has other themes besides religion in it. It has friendship and loyalty and curiosity and teamwork in the face of impossible obstacles. I think it's just as everything. It lots boatloads of positive messaging, and while not shying away from the realities of humanity sometimes being a little dark or small-minded at the same time.
Well, and there's as in with Shin Godzilla, which is very preoccupied with bureaucracy and how that can impede progress or problem solving. This one definitely has a lot to do with the threat of invasion and diplomatic negotiation to best serve the population of, in this case, Japan.
Yeah. Oh, only after watching this film did I learned that it was based on several different episodes of a TV show called Ultraman by E.G. Subaraya. I'm sure I got that wrong, but it takes these episodes and condenses them down into, I guess, what is the essence of Ultraman in a really engaging and exciting way. I didn't even realize these were episodes until I was told they were, because it all works seamlessly together to me. I'm surprised that this is the 37th film in the Ultraman franchise.
It's the 37th.
That's what it said. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know what the other 36 movies are.
Well, and they're apparently at the time of release, it was the Guinness Book of World Records holder for the property. And I don't know if it's Japanese property or if it is just character in general that had the most spin-offs and sequels.
Yeah, that's wild to me, because I just figured out that this exists. And yes, thanks to Hungry Boy, if he ever gets back around to us here on YouTube to listen to this, for introducing it to Scotty, who introduced it to me.
Paying it forward.
But yeah, And as I said before, actual fans of Ultraman made this film. So I like what the writer of the film said, Hideki Anno. Our goal is to create a world of Ultraman that is not for children, but for the generation that watched Ultraman back then and that they want to watch now that they are adults. We aim to create entertainment for adults that is consistent with the modern age coexistence of dreams and reality that can be depicted only with special effects images. To achieve this goal, we will draw an interesting work that emphasizes quality and sensitivity, even in terms of reality, glistening with the theme of invasion rather than a catastrophe. And I think that's actually what the movie achieves. He also says the overall worldview of the film may be somewhat connected to that of Shin Godzilla, but there was but I guess there was some kind of copyright problem, so they couldn't actually connect them as much as the author wanted. And then the director says, we immediately ran into the director Shinji Higuchi said we ran into a practical problem. We didn't have as big a budget as those American MonsterVerse films, so we really couldn't destroy the world like they did. We tried to compensate by coming up with a uniquely appealing screenplay and really interesting characters. And a baton has been entrusted to me that has been shining ever since I was a small child. I will solemnly strive to fulfill my responsibility to pass on that heavy, radiant baton created by my seniors. That is heavy, and I really like that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, is that when you do have a director who is attempting to reimagine a classic property, a classic story, instead of saying, actually, you know what, I was always more of a Godzilla guy. It's like, well, then what are you doing directing Ultraman? You shouldn't. I'm sorry, I stopped paying attention when you say you didn't like Ultraman. And so I think that is definitely something. The reverence for the seniors and what has come before is amazing. Like,
Almost
it is
refreshing.
Certainly refreshing. Shall we say hello
we
to our
haven't
glorious chat?
Yes, we shall. We haven't even gotten started with the slides yet, and I have a lot of them. But first, we have to say hello to the chat. I'm going to try to write everybody's name down today. We have FKHC 2005. He
Hello.
says, "Speak up, Joe." I do have to take it easy with my voice a little bit. If I get too excited, I might like my frequency may go too high. We'll see. Low Spec Linux Gaming. Hello. Yeah, it's great to see you.
Hey, Low
And
Spec.
his little penguin.
Ah, the penguin, a mighty creature.
Franco Walker says, please subscribe and hit the bell, share, hit like, and select live chat.
One of my favorite
Thank
things.
you, Franco. Oh, yeah. Which character does that? Is that
Mephiles?
It's so funny every time he does that. and then when he says that that's one of my least favorite sayings.
Yes. If at first you don't succeed, try again. One of my least favorite sayings.
It's so funny when he does that. Greek letters Larson, hello. He's here too.
Guten Nacht, Mittag, Kämmerdan.
And hello to Wes Cagle.
Hey, Wes Cagle.
Oh, okay. That one I haven't written down yet. Wes Cagle. I'm gonna try this thing.
Good tea.
Let's see how long it lasts before I stop writing names down.
Nice.
DJ Ronnie G.
DJ Ronnie G.
He says, good movie. Oh, you like this movie, DJ?
Sweet.
And I'm glad to hear you're feeling better, says Max Redstone. Yes, I could absolutely not speak for an entire week. I could make sounds, but they wouldn't come through the microphone, nor would you want to hear them if you could.
Yeah, it was touch and go there for a little while, but I'm glad that you're back on the road to recovery.
Yeah, me too. Low Specs Linux Gaming says, I watched 1966 Ultraman when I was a kid. Wow.
Yeah, I'm curious. I want to see if I can find some of those classic episodes. See if they grab me as much as the movie did.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, it's based on that TV show, so it should. Aw, Frank Walker says, "Welcome back, Jill. We missed you. Oh, I missed you too. I hated not being able to stream. It was terrible." Greek Letters says, "Wait. Isn't it a Godzilla movie we'll be reviewing? Who's that Shin guy?"
Ultraman.
Franco's never heard of this film, and neither has Greek Letters Larson. What does he want? Where does he come from? Does he have a secret identity? A weak spot? What's his powers? Oh, yeah, he has powers.
And he does have a weak spot.
Mm-hmm. Oh, does he have a friend called Nee? Yeah, that's what I think about. Oh, just on his funny bone. I've got a Spectrum. If that's any help. Spectrum, man. What? Okay.
That's Blofeld. Blofeld is Spectre Man.
I haven't gotten. Oh, he is. Okay. I've only made it through a few James Bond movies. Sorry that I'm not caught up yet. Jill, I hate to break it to you, but I think you sound a bit worse than yesterday. Maybe leave. How do you go rampant? Just saying. I sound worse than yesterday?
I think you sound fine. Well, like obviously still on recovery, but you know how to take care of yourself. If you need to step back and gargle some salt water or something, chug some honey.
Chug some honey? Okay.
I've heard it helps bees.
Sounding more and Marge Simpson today, Joe. Yeah, well, I had to get through some of what I wanted to share. I don't know. I have to deal with it. Or, not be here. I can go if you want me
to. No, please don't. You made the slides.
I know, right? Hello. Hey, Matt G.
Matt G? You're just Matt G.
Yeah, he's just Matt G.
Oh. And there we go. Matt G says, Swift will return. I can hope. I only hope.
There's your promise. So here's. Oh, hold on. There they are.
Hey. Now, what's interesting about this is that apparently before Ultraman, the television show, there was a television show called Ultra Q. And in Ultraman, it started off and it flashed the title of Ultra Q. And at the beginning of this movie, it flashes the title of Shin Godzilla as sort of an homage to what happened last time on Ultraman. So just if you want to see the establishment of the kaiju in Japan, check out Godzilla, Shin Godzilla. But this is the follow-up story, if not a direct sequel.
That's what this means?
No, it comes after.
This is just
the Toho logo.
Okay. Oh, Toho. Okay, gotcha.
These are just
yesterday your voice was more stable. Today you're going up and down frequency. That could be because I'm excited about this movie, and that's why my voice is going crazy. That's what it is. Sorry about that, guys, if it was not pleasant to listen to. FKHC 2005 says, that's Japanese for insert joke here. Oh. But yeah, it starts off a little bit trippy with some optical illusions. For some of the logo graphics I thought were kind of fun to look at.
Well, and it's interesting and fun to see studio logos that you don't see on a regular basis. Like this is, I'm not well versed in my in my Japanese cinema, And so when I'm watching this, it's like, oh, that's cool, that's neat. It's like we're looking at the logo, Scott. It's nothing special.
Oh, but it seems special to me.
Yeah, me too.
I like it.
There we go. Shin Ultraman.
But that's why I had so many slides of the logos. A fantasy. It's a fantasy. And so we get our first kaiju here, and it just these kaiju. I realized for the first time in my life, because I played Pokemon when I was a kid, that kaiju must have inspired a lot of Pokemon designs, and I looked into it, and it was actually true. So I am. Oh, did I bring that in? I don't think I did.
Did you? What? You had a Pikachu?
No, I don't have a Pikachu exactly. What do I have? I have this.
Well, and this first kaiju that they show, because in the original television show there were budgetary constraints, and the first kaiju that shows up in the original show is basically a repurposing of the monster suit from Godzilla, and they just reused that so that they could cut costs. And in this, they reused the monster model for Shin Godzilla and just sort of tweaked it a little bit so it would look different. So it's even referential in the way that they did the production. So there are Easter eggs beyond Easter eggs for people who were fans of the original.
I do kind of think this one actually did remind me a bit of Godzilla, but I thought, oh no, but it's not Godzilla. He has horns and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's just a giant unidentified life form. But oh no, that's not right.
Game Boy?
I put that wrong. I put that in the wrong spot. Sorry. But this one is actually called Gomez. That's what I think of. I was thinking of when I first started this movie. Except, and the humans are able to defeat this particular kaiju. And so that's what we get is more kaijus.
Well, and that's this is great. I love the mammoth flower. But this is supposed to establish sort of what has occurred in Shin Godzilla, that Japanese government has actually become quite proficient and capable of defending against the kaiju. Yes. And this is the set, the train, when it pans down, it's at a train station, and that's actually where Godzilla is defeated in Shin Godzilla. So there is
because you have seen Shin Godzilla.
Oh yeah. Well, and yeah, third giant unidentified life form, Peguila.
Well, the mammoth flower was defeated by carbon gas and fire.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is Pangea. It freezes Tokyo with gas. And a female scientist figures out its weakness, and they're also able to destroy it. But they don't say exactly how. But they did it. But I guess that's just the point. We just need to know. Humans know what they're doing with these kaiju, and they have a plan. They have plans to be able to defeat them as they come along. And
so we have the establishment of the SSSP, which is the Defense Force Against Kaiju.
Disaster Prevention Agency is created. And SSSP is established. Suppression Protocol Enforcement Unit. And so then we get a roll call of our chief characters for the movie.
Yeah.
I like these. And so that's the chief.
Monokata?
Monokata, yeah. You mostly just need to remember the last name.
Yeah, that's all I'm. Well, yeah, and then Tamura, Captain Tamura.
Captain Tamura, yeah. Then strategic planner Shinji Kaminaga.
He'll become important.
He will. Very important. But they're all important. That's what's great about this movie.
Well, and apparently, Yumi, the actress who played Yumi, she was part of she was a pop star, and she
was
gone on to develop quite an acting career as well.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And then Taki.
Her name is Akari Hayami, and yeah, I would never know that she was a pop star.
Neither did I. Again, research was fun on this one. So much to delve into.
Definitely. And then we have particle physicist Taki, but I don't know why it says unparticle physics.
Well, apparently there was a lot. They talked to a lot of quantum physicists because there are things that happen in this that are directly related to quantum theory, quantum string theory, and they did put a lot of effort into the science, if you believe it or not.
I believe it. I believe it because there's a whole scientific document towards the end of this movie, and I'm like, this actually looks legit. Like if the things that they said were real, that they're typing, that they're not real, they're fantasy. But if that's some serious science fiction.
Mm-hmm.
When you're publishing actual, scientific documentation that would be real if any of this were real. It seemed like it was based on real types of physics. Let's see.
I like how later on, when we eventually meet Asami, she's walking to work, and you hear after the latest defeat of a kaiju, they talk about it, and it's like, oh, there was another kaiju. I know, it's really exciting. Kaiju happen like earthquakes here in Tokyo. We get used to it. Luckily, we have the defense force.
Right, when we're kind of eavesdropping on their conversation.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I do.
Well, my God. Well, there's more kaiju. There's Pagos, the subterranean kaiju.
Oh, and apparently these, again, in going back to like these kaiju happen like earthquakes in Japan. They numbered the kaiju in the same way that they number typhoons in Japan. So it's just something. It's like kaiju just happen. You can't do anything about it. And that's why the well protection after the initial with, I'm going to have to watch Shin Godzilla this evening.
Yeah, but it's so weird that they only attack Japan.
Well, and there is a thing. There's a whole thing. After we get to the chat, I'll talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say that's trippy. Quick drop LSD or LDS.
LDS.
Low Spec Linux Gaming says the 66 show has that trippy liquid light show type effect in the intro. Stop everything, expand the gift. Does this chin dude make a cross with his arms to throw an energy beam? Yes. Jesus ripoff.
Jesus ripoff, much in the same way that Superman has absorbed some of the Christ mythology.
There is kind of a I'm not sure why Scotty dropped, but there is kind of that theme going with Shin Ultraman in terms of his love for humanity and wanting to protect it, and so there is that feeling that. So you're actually not far off.
And there have been times in the history of Ultraman because they did have to sort of incapacitate him for a little while so the story could progress and you up the ante of the danger, where Ultraman does get crucified. So yeah, there is Christ allegory all over this.
Weren't the kaiju in the Pacific Rim that movie with the giant robots battling giant monsters?
Yes.
You
And
really
as you
prevent
would,
disaster. Usually they turn up with that warning. Yeah, that's why they have to be prepared all the time.
yeah, and I think that's also part of the reason why no one gets really, really upset about the collateral damage, like people did in small or in Metropolis.
Yeah,
It's like, well, what are you
because
going to do?
they seem really great at evacuating affected areas, and I think that's what's meant by disaster prevention is not necessarily that they're going to stop the disaster, but that they're going to stop people from dying.
Yes. The kaiju keep people employed as well because you're always going to have to fix the infrastructure.
That's the broken window fallacy.
Yes.
Ooh, that kaiju got destroyed. Well, Pagos destroyed, exterminated through SSSP's command. And so that's how we get introduced to this world. It's a whole bunch of kaiju causing a whole bunch of trouble and disturbances and high inconveniences. You wonder how quickly they're able to build all this stuff, and then the kaiju come and destroy it.
Well, and it is again, it's sort of lighthearted. There's no real, again, because they have perfected their evacuation techniques. It is lighthearted even when they do destroy sort of some of the infrastructure and they like, oh, what a mess. What a pain. They destroyed the power plant.
Yeah.
So this guy's really rad. So this guy, he's got like a turning horn. Or no, this guy doesn't have the turning horn. This guy just goes invisible and then he feeds off of the power generators.
Yes. Yes, it's an invisible kaiju, and there's just so many kaiju. I was just inundated with them just watching this movie, and it can be detected through the debris, through its destruction. You can tell where it is. But also Yumi can see it on infrared. And so they're trying to figure out what kind of weapons will work, because heat and light weapons won't do it. And another striking thing about this movie is the camera angles are really, really different, really strange. I've never seen a movie that focuses on things the way this movie does.
Well, and the bizarre or creative camera angles, some of them were achieved just with iPhones. Like, again, it's a lower budget film. Say what, like, I still haven't seen Godzilla -1 yet. I will, but I haven't seen it yet. And it's another one of those situations where you see how much creativity you can do with a limited budget.
Definitely. And I love that movie too. And so when this kaiju eats enough electricity, I guess it shows itself because it's full of all this power, I suppose.
Yes, and I think they say it decloaks to intimidate.
Oh, I thought it was just throwing a tantrum.
I thought that's all it did.
Well, because they shut off the electricity, and it's like, oh, how dare you turn off my food? I'm going to destroy this.
You said it was all I could eat.
But all the missiles they send to it are destroyed. And so based on its current consumption, it's threatening to eat all of the electricity in Japan. I don't know how it'll do that. But look at that. And then I guess release it this way. And
well,
I don't know.
Yeah, what's the point of eating electricity if you can't shoot it?
And wasn't. So I thought it was really interesting that this one eats electricity. Some of them eat radiation. And I had always heard that Godzilla was created in response to the fear of nuclear disasters. So it's confirmed here that kaijus only attack Japan, and that is I don't know if that's related to that in any way.
Well, and there's They do talk about that, how they only happen in Japan, and so there is negotiation that has to happen with other world powers, especially when Ultraman shows up. But the kaiju are pretty much seen by the rest of the world as being like, well, they don't attack us, so it's your problem, Japan. And there are moments where they're like, okay, we got to call the Americans for like a stealth bomber with these crazy cool missiles and bombs. And so it is an international, there is international negotiation, even though it is Japan's problem.
Yes, they do. Japan buys weapons from the US and then they say, oh, we used them all. It's going to take another 6 months to make more of these.
But see, that I think this is an example of the interesting cinematography. Is like, okay, we're going to shoot from the rollers of a desk chair looking at the chief. And they do that quite a lot. There's a bunch of shots that are basically taken from the POV of the computer screens. Here we go. Let's just shoot from the hip, literally.
Yeah. Don't you just want to listen to dialogue while staring at somebody's thigh?
Yeah, but and I thought about it because there are a couple of shots, and I'm like, why did they cut off like the top of his head? But as the scene progresses and the character deflates, I think it's a shot of the chief, and he deflates and he sort of his head lowers and his hand covers his mouth, and it's like, oh, it's because the finality of the shot that's where the mark is. And even though a lot of these are just conversations that take place in offices, they're still quite dynamic.
They are.
DJ
well,
Knight
they keep. Oh yes.
is here.
Oh hey,
says
DJ
hello.
Knight. Hello. Oh, I need to write that down.
There we go. Thank you, Van Wilder.
DJ Knight. And they come up with more ideas, but none of them seem like they're going to work. And if all this isn't bad enough, they spotted a child still in the village. So Kaminaga goes off to save the child. Let's see. Was there anybody else who showed up in the chat? Let's see. Ultraman kind of reminds me of Servo, says DJ Knight. It's disaster management, higher pay jobs. Yeah. That's weird camera angles. And then they're showing the back of a second-hand actor. The second is crappy cinematography, says Greek Letters Larson.
Well, I guess it also does come down to a matter of taste if you find them interesting.
For sure.
I watched a brief review sort of admonishing this movie, saying, what the hell am I looking at? Was this filmed on an iPhone? And it's like, well, yeah, it's parts of it.
Greek Letters Larson thinks the kaiju are racist.
Well, I guess they are, because they're kaiju and they don't like humans. So that would be a racist thing, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And then finally, okay, this kaiju's kind of cool looking. He's still rampaging the electricity eating kaiju. But then for the first time in the movie, we see Shin Ultraman, but they don't call him that yet. They don't call him Ultraman just yet. They just say the force and power. It seems the force and power that he lands on Earth with, it seems like it's an earthquake in intensity. And it's so powerful that it even throws the invisible kaiju back. And they just call it a silver giant. And it's standing still as the kaiju sends electricity at it. And so then we have another fight sequence.
Well, actually, This is the first presentation of a fight between Ultraman and a kaiju.
Yes. And
well, and they're kind of blown away by it because there we go. Thank you, Yumi. But it's like, is it another kaiju? Is there another kaiju incoming? And it's like, no, this has the silhouette of a humanoid. So they've never seen anything like this before. They're completely happy with land-based monsters or flying monsters, but when they see a silver giant, they're like, "Oh, geez, what is this about?"
Yeah, and the kaiju just ends up using up most of its electricity trying to attack Shin Ultraman or Ultraman. I wanted to play a little bit of this because it kind of really helps show
Sure,
the movie a little bit, but I don't know where to play from.
any of it, all of it. I can't hear it, but it's okay. Oh. DJ Knight says, I have seen Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad on TV a lot. I see that's something. This is so fun for me just because it is something that I'm not familiar with. So DJ Knight, I will. Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. I like that title. I like that name a lot. Oh, and Gavin says, kaiju hate each other too. They are xenophobic. They're not good neighbors, is basically what I understand. DJ Knight says, and Servo was the hero of the digital world. Is that like a Digimon thing? I'm not sure. Oh no, we lost Jill, but she'll be back. Don't you worry. And Gavin Blackburn says, it's a big beetle with LEDs under its shell. Well, yeah, and they do, because again, it's based on this 60s production of a low budget television show. And they sort of had to mix and match different giant monster suits because that's, it was just guys in monster suits. And they talk about it in the movie. It's like, isn't it strange how the kaiju are all sort of compartmental? It's like you could take the head off of one and put it on another one and it's a completely different kaiju. So there's tongue-in-cheek references to the budgetary constraints and what happens throughout the story. Oh, I feel badly because we haven't. We're pausing before we get to see Ultraman or the Silver Giant. We've only seen him obscured somewhat. Greek Letters Larson says, "Da da ta ta, Ultraman has come to." Oh, ta na 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 na. Ultraman has come to save the day, and his first move is to open a crater, destroying everything around him. Well, it is. Yeah, there is. Yes. But also Ultraman being from another world.
How much of that did you get to see? I don't know.
Nothing.
Nothing.
It didn't actually play.
It
We
did?
started to see it, and it was who mentioned it? It was LED lights under its shell. I think it might have been Gavin.
Oh, well, I saw it all. Oh shit!
You saw it all. Well, good.
It's Scotty's show.
Just briefly.
Oh, even my background disappeared. That's weird.
Oh, well. Disaster prevention. Now, while you're setting back up, I had a question for you, and as we go through, maybe you can find yourself answering this question. Who do you identify with in the team?
Who I identify with in the team, as in,
Right.
well,
Which character?
probably I would say Yumi, I suppose, but
I was getting
none
strong
of them
Jill vibes.
represent.
I was getting strong Jill vibes off of Yumi.
Yeah, I think that's.
So I'm glad you said that. I was afraid that you'd be offended. Actually, I was just sort of hoping you wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Greek Letter says, "Okay, Jill, we can pack it in. Scotty has reviewed the whole movie and the stream. That's it."
He did? Is that true?
Yeah.
Did you review the whole movie?
No. I didn't even get to see Ultraman yet.
I know. Can you can you see this? I don't know why it seemed to be destroying my stream, but
here
can
we
you
go.
see that?
There's Ultraman. Hey, Gorilla Sensor Thought is here. Yeah. What is that? Spacium 115? He's got the beam.
113 or 133. Something like that.
Gorilla's censored thought says, Kapla, just shot my first 20-pound turkey, but now I'm banned from
Wow.
Walmart. Yes. You're not
Good
supposed
joke.
to.
You got me.
You can't discharge the firearms that you purchase at Walmart in Walmart. They frown upon that.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Gorilla. Yeah, you don't have to shoot the turkeys. They're already dead and plucked and everything. You can skip that part.
What about a kaiju turkey? It would feed an entire town.
Oh, wow. That would be lucky.
Just need Ultraman to put him down.
Yeah, right. It'll probably breathe fire or something.
Oh, yeah. Shoot electricity.
Mm-hmm.
Eats children.
What kind of power would the kaiju turkey have? Eats children.
Oh, ultrasonic. It would just be blah, 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 blah. Right. Everybody's eardrums explode. So yeah, it even this kaiju, it realizes it's in trouble, so it goes invisible and tries to back away after it's depleted its electricity and has not. So basically, this beginning of the movie is just setting up how powerful Ultraman is. Yeah, weren't you going to start at 1? Yeah, I was, but then I realized I was going to have limited time with Scotty, so I pushed it back to the regular time. Thank you, by the way. You're welcome. So everyone's marveling at how much energy Ultraman can absorb. Yeah, a high amount of energy, 500,000 kilowatts of power. I wonder if that's more than a gigawatt. And then he has. Now, okay, so there's. Go ahead. Oh, I was just going to say, apparently, the design for this is based on an oil painting from 1983, and it was based on the original actor who played Ultraman in the 60s, Ben Furiua. I'm saying that wrong. All of our pronunciations will be incorrect today, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, and so he is apparently so passionate about being Ultraman that if you stand behind him or beside him for like a photo opportunity or an autograph or anything like that, if you stand beside him and have a picture taken and you do any of the Ultraman poses, he'll be like, no, you're doing it wrong. No, you're doing it wrong. And so the reverence that they had for his performance and how much he brought physically to the original, they brought him back, and he was like something like 73 years old to do the posing for it through motion capture, because a lot of the stuff that happens with the fights is done through motion capture. In fact, a lot of the pre-visualization was done on a video game engine. They don't know which one, but like it probably an Unreal, but I have no facts to back that up. But they said that a lot of the pre-visualization and special effects were done with a video game engine, and the special effects were mapped over the motion capture. That's beautiful. I even though I didn't know that, I could tell there was something pure about this movie, and I guess that's one example of it. They went back directly to the source, and luckily that actor still was with us to provide that performance and get Ultraman's moves right. It's funny to see, though, when you see the motion capture, because back in the day, he was, a tall, lanky guy. And seeing him at 73, he's doing the moves, but there's a little bit more jiggle in his movement. He's, not faulting the 73-year-old man for putting on a couple pounds, but it's funny to see him do the Ultraman stuff when he's like, so tired. Wow. But apparently, well, like you said, though, they couldn't have done it without him. Right. At least it wouldn't have been right. And so I'm glad he was there, and I'm glad Ultraman was here to save, in this case, they could not defeat this particular kaiju. And Ultraman showed up just in time, just like a superhero, just coming out of nowhere. And this begins the interest that aliens are having in, well, the kaiju themselves are part of the interest that aliens are having in
in humanity. They're curious about humanity. And what the biggest thing the aliens are curious about is what can humans evolve into?
Well, and at this point, once he blows up that kaiju, well, and also, Greek letter says, I think Ultraman is kind of dumb. All you need to defeat the electric kaiju is ground it. Big deal. Yeah, he's pretty powerful. I don't know how you would do it, like trick him to get onto some rubber or something. But that's the thing, is that it's pure electricity, like 500,000 volt, whatever electricity things. But Ultraman's beam isn't electricity. It's this what is it? What's the beam called? Specium?
Yeah, Spacium.
Spacium. So what we missed there is that with the explosion of the kaiju, as we saw, Kaminaga was going to rescue the young boy, and the subsequent explosion killed him while he was protecting.
Well,
the boy.
yes, and that's not quite revealed yet in the movie.
Oh, isn't it?
That
okay. Spoilers,
no,
everyone.
Well, but that's okay. If we're gonna say it, we might as well explain it. And that's how Ultraman becomes part human. Is that Kaminaga dies trying to rescue this little boy, and Ultraman decides to fuse with Kaminaga and sort of bring him back to life in that way. But throughout the whole movie, Kaminaga is just laying dead in the middle of the forest, and we cut back to him every once in a while.
Yes. DJ Knight says, "Big
But
whoop."
yeah, he did. He saved that little boy. I think that's really, really great, and it is that act that makes Ultraman fall in love with humanity, I believe.
Yes, in terms of sacrifice.
Yeah.
Which, like, bookends the film in terms of what Kaminaga is prepared to do and what he imbues Ultraman with in terms of morality and what.
Yes. But right now we're about to meet Hiroko Asami, and she's on her way to work, like you said. You already mentioned the eavesdropping about kaiju, and so she meets Captain Tamura, and she's got to deal with that mysterious giant, and I guess figure out what it is. And she meets with Yumi, who tells her all about the team. And there's a little stuffed animal of this badge, this SSSP badge.
Well, and I like that idea that because, like, these guys are basically the Men in Black, but they're not a secret, and so they have done stuff to protect Japan to the point where there is merchandise for the SSSP.
Yeah, there it is. It's so cute.
Which I kind of want.
Yeah, I kind of want it too, but I don't know why. Like, there's no useful purpose that it would ever serve.
Yeah. It's like getting an adipose from Doctor Who. It's cute, but I think I'd rather get myself I'm gonna have to look into an Ultraman action figure.
Yeah, there are lots of them out there. You'll be able to find one
for sure. I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Asami is from the Defense Force, and she's been transferred over.
Yes. Taki works in unparticle physics.
That's the second time they said that.
Yeah, they say unparticle instead of particle, and I would love to know the meaning of that.
I think it's because it's string theory, and string theory obviously doesn't involve particles.
Oh, and then they show off all of Taki's toys. He brings his personal life to work. And I like the coffee mug. And there's all of these different toys. And I was waiting for the Enterprise, and I was not disappointed. Look at that. That is a nice one too.
Gets a lot of stuff. Or a lot of shots of the Enterprise.
There are. I get all of them.
I wouldn't expect anything less.
And Asami has a new buddy. She calls him her buddy, because they're partners. They're going to be they're supposed to be partners anyway, with Kaminaga, who we already revealed to you is actually dead. So, but he's
Just so
actually
you know.
Ultraman. Just so you know, usually there was a buildup in the movie where you don't realize that he's Ultraman at this point. Scotty got a new fetishism after the She-Hulk twerking doll. He craves Ultraman toys.
Well, and it's interesting because with the design of this, the special effects director, Anno, he was very disconcerted with the character design when he was a child because, again, cheap. It looked relatively cheap, but you could see the mouth of the actor in the suit, and so that's why he wanted to do something with just sort of a plain, non-articulated face, is because he thought that whenever Ultraman moved his face in subsequent versions, it looked creepy, and so. Whereas there is a facial expression to my She-Hulk wish list, it's very plain with Ultraman. And so it would have to, it definitely has to do with the articulation, being able to make the beam pose. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say that in terms of my my action figure fetish, I did ask for Bride of Frankenstein action figure from my sister for Christmas, and she was like, "You suck. You're such a fucking nerd."
That's rude.
Well, no, but she, in a playful way, in a way that only a sibling could say. And then I was like, "Shut up. You're a square."
But she's gonna get it for you anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, actually, these particular scenes are more interesting to watch, knowing that he's Ultraman this time. He saved that child, but he didn't have a scratch on him, and even though they don't know exactly that he died, and he was close to the giant. He is the giant. So when Asami is doing her research saying, "What do you remember?" and he says, "I don't remember anything," he's lying.
Yes. Well, and that's also when I say this is sort of like this is the best Superman movie since '78, is that this is our Lois and Clark moment. He's I don't know what's going on, but no one suspects him as of yet. Actually, he's being quite a dick. And also in the opening, the first act of this, he's sitting there and he's just absorbing books about he's reading a lot of books about humanity, trying to absorb as much information so he can understand the species. And he does say, like, there's a lot of talk, and he's like, we are individuals and autonomous. We work for ourselves, and then gets a little bit of a lecture saying we live in a community. We are a social being.
Well, yes, that is definitely going to come up in just a little bit, and he does enjoy reading. I think the book that he was reading, I could remember, is The Savage Mind, and that is very interesting. That would be the kind of book I'd be interested in. I like psychology and stuff like that, and Asami does challenge him on what it means to be a community, and I guess he's used to being isolated. And I don't think he's necessarily a dick. He is, but he doesn't realize he's being a dick.
Right. It's more based on a lack of understanding.
Mm-hmm. Already, you're a useless buddy. Yeah. Oh, there it is. There's that scene you're talking about where she teaches him about the importance of others. But
you didn't bring me a coffee. Well, get your own. I served my own needs and purposes. No, that's not what humanity is about.
But in the background, before all that, it seems like the U.S. are more interested now that there's an alien, like that, like a human-like alien. So they're sniffing around now.
Well, and not only, because we'll sell you weapons and you can take care of your own problems. Oh, it looks like Ultraman is a weapon. So we should probably have a sit down, talk it out. What's going on with that guy?
He's 60 meters tall, 2,900 tons. and they need to learn about his beam and how he flies and all of that. And I love the debates in this movie. Like you said, actually, it's weird that you say Lois because I don't get strong romance vibes. There doesn't actually seem to be a real hard chemistry. It's kind of just like the alien is kind of confused about humanity and he's trying to learn about it. You could have at least, well, as Asami says at the end of the scene, the guy is an imbecile. That's because he doesn't understand humans. You could have at least gotten me a coffee. And he says, we are self sustained individual organisms. We act on our own for ourselves. And she says, society is more than just individuals. Your coffee, your clothes, they are made by someone else. Humans are social animals. We depend on each other to survive. so he's like, oh, a herd. And that's when she calls him an imbecile. And I love that debate.
Eugene Bird is here. She's staring at us or the coffee cup? At the coffee cup. She's envious of the coffee. But it's good to see Eugene Bird. All right. Let's do another kaiju.
Yeah, kaiju has appeared in Yama and Kamikita City. And it causes a mountain to explode and everyone has to run away from the bridge.
Give it to the Japanese people just being able to know, oh man, and then they run in herds away from things so very, very well. Oh, this is my favorite. And this is like, I know a lot of people, this is the thing, is that when Asami stands up for the first time, she slaps her ass. And a lot of people were like, that's inappropriate. Why are we looking at this, her slapping her own ass? And the thing is that she is she was previously in a defense force and she likes going out into the field. She hates sitting on her ass, just looking at a computer screen. And that's what I get from this, is that when she gets up, she slaps her ass to get some feeling back into it so that she can go out into the field. And she even does that with Yumi. And it's like, come on, this is going to be fun. Smacks her ass. And like it is, and there's nothing really sexual about it. It's more of like a motivation. Let's get going. You need a slap in the ass.
And that's where she includes with her slapping is shows some spirit. Yeah, and I think so too. Football players do it to each other to get them motivated to get things done, and it's not sexual either. It's meant to encourage, and that's all.
Congratulate. Good game.
And so they're off to defeat a subterranean kaiju. There's so many kaijus. And
new wallpaper.
And they have mastered the art of keeping everyone safe in terms of evacuating everybody from the affected area. And even if I like that they're good at doing that, because I knew that meant that later on in the movie we're going to get fights where you can't evacuate everybody, and that's exactly what happens. This is, like you said, they're numbered. This is kaiju number 8. It's digging under the mountain, and Taki considers that they might use that tunnel for travel one day, but Yumi says that won't be possible for a while because this thing is highly radioactive. And as much as the kaiju destroys, can they also help construct in terms of making a tunnel you could drive through? I guess that would be interesting if the kaiju wasn't completely full of radiation, and you don't want to take that tunnel now because it eats radiation for dinner. And this whole movie is so interesting that I took my time taking the slides. It took more than a day to take these slides. Actually, if I had my show on the day I intended, I don't know if I would have made it because these were also very interesting. All of this movie, because now it's headed for the nuclear waste storage facility, and I guess the stakes are just created in such a way that make me actually care about the disaster that it might cause.
Oh, the fallout would be ridiculous.
And this one, yeah, exactly. And so the tension is pretty high. And this is apparently same type of kaiju as Pagos that we saw earlier, which is the other radiation eating kaiju.
And see, this is what I mean: is that the chief has to call and say, "Get on the phone with the United States. We need to get these bombs." And these bombs apparently were introduced as some of the ordnance that was used to repel Godzilla in Shin Godzilla. So again, there are sort of callbacks to Shin Godzilla without it actually being a direct sequel. But Greek Letters says, rumor has it whenever Japanese soldiers are going in mission, that their CO slaps their ass for good luck. That is what I've heard. Yes. I think I saw a documentary about the ass slapping Japanese.
That sounds good to me.
Well,
This one, the radiation kaiju has this massive drill on its in front of it and in the back of it. It's just full of drills. And his name we get the name of Gabora.
Yes.
And so everybody says, look out for Ultraman, see if Ultraman shows up.
Let's show some spirit. She smacks her ass.
She shows, yeah, she does it several times during the movie.
Thank heavens. Hey, see, and then apparently because there have been many suits of Ultraman throughout the years at different colors. This is the second iteration where he's got the red highlights on Ultraman. And that apparently is supposed to sort of be an indicator that he has joined with Kaminaga.
Right, because as we see Ultraman, Asami says, hey, wait, where's Kaminaga? He's disappeared.
Where's Clark?
Yeah. And Ultraman faces Gabora, and it's really fun. This is a good fight. I'd want to get this one too, but I can't figure out how to find it.
Well, and I like how they're approaching it as scientists as well, just because Taki says he arrived on the ground. Why didn't he come from space this time? What's going on? And so there are, there's still questions. We don't necessarily know what Ultraman is all about yet.
Yeah, exactly. We just know he was helpful, but is he well-meaning? And okay,
Indian
so
Bird says he's using Jerry Ryan's tailor, evidently. Yes, it is very form-fitting. But it's just it's his skin. There you go. Now, in the original show, there he had sort of like, for lack of a better term, he had sort of like a light and arc reactor in the center of his chest, and it would indicate when Ultraman was sort of being drained of his energy. He was becoming weaker, and it wasn't a stylistic choice that the directors wanted. And so in this one, whenever he gets drained of his energy, he turns green. He goes from red to green, which I thought was, a nice little indicator for the audience as to what was happening.
Oh, right. Yes, that's exactly what happens. But first, he starts spinning Gabora like how Super Mario defeats Bowser in Super Mario 64. And I wanted to get to that part. Let's see if I can reach it.
Hey, words and pictures.
Because first he has to walk through the radiation beam. He has to get, like he said, he turns green. Okay, there he is.
Words and Pictures is here. Says, it's a shame I can't stop. I watched this a couple of weeks back. Not bad at all. I enjoyed it. Good choice. And again, thanks to Hungry Boy for putting this on my radar. And I'm glad that Jill enjoyed it as well.
Oh, it's great to see you, Words and Pictures. I'm glad you're here.
And Euler Greg.
Hey, Euler Greg. Words and Pictures. And Euler Greg is here also. Awesome. Euler Greg.
And then Euler Greg says, Ultraman, classic Japanese ultra human. And Greek Letters Larson says, wait. Why do you think the radiation kaiju is attacking? Maybe he just wants to clean up the environment. After the radioactive dump, he intends to go in to Pripyat and Chernobyl. Yeah, but like there's gonna be a wake of destruction, radioactive destruction. So it's sort of like walking through a mud puddle and then going inside. So I get what you're saying, but I'm on Ultraman's side on this one.
This all the fight sequences are really cool.
Yeah.
I do want to break it up for copyright, but
well, and they do it.
So
it's almost like professional wrestling. It's great. These are the kind of fights that I wish I saw more of in like the Godzilla versus Kong. Like they're okay, but these ones again, like the CGI isn't being too obscured by. It's not night. It's not raining. It's not too dusty. Like there's obviously dust ups, but it's not that bad.
I like all the dirt.
Great.
It makes it really feel more realistic. So here's the Super Mario. This is how Mario defeats Bowser in Super Mario 64. But and his the kaiju's the drill, the tail works like a drill too, and then it has the same face as Pagos. So they cut. So something covers its face and it opens it up and it kind of looks like a flower petal that starts spinning. And Ultraman uses his arms to block it, and then he lets the monster hit him directly in the chest, as you saw. I showed that for a little bit, and Ultraman defeats him. It's amazing.
Well, and also going back to what Greek Letter said is that Ultraman can't use his spacium beam because then the radioactivity would go everywhere. See, like that's just
he seems
rad.
to know too.
Mm-hmm. The powers of Ultraman. See, I knew it. It has the same face as Pagos, which again is just a sort of subtle reference or overt reference to those who were a fan of the original show, that these were just sort of modular suits that you could mix and match to make different monsters. Like that in the first series of Ultraman, I think there were 39 episodes. They weren't messing around in the 60s. It was quantity and quality. Although your mileage may vary. Sorry, excuse me for just 1 minute, Joe.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, and so we're working on this kaiju here, and by the time he stops the kaiju's wild spinning head and then he punches Gabora straight in the face, and that's it. That defeats it. That's the final blow. And you also just saw Ultraman's power drain, as Scotty said, when it goes from red to green, and that you realize, then you wonder if he's okay. Not only is Ultraman okay, he's able to pick up the kaiju and carry it off. And he not only defeats the kaiju, but he takes it away, so that because he knows the cleanup process would be difficult. And he knew not to use his beam. And And Asami wants to figure out how to communicate with Ultraman. Really makes sense because he seems to be helping, but you don't know the true intent of anybody unless you have a talk. You Greek Letters puts the lyrics to a song here. I'm not capable of singing right now. Sorry. And there's a then you got Kaminaga shows back up because Ultraman is gone. Then Yumi and Taki are talking while they're walking down the hall. They're discussing how all the kaiju they've seen so far have been different, but Pagos and Gamora are the first to be the same type. So Asami just finishes her reports on the events we just saw. And everyone's waiting for Ultraman to appear again. And Eugene Bird is hearing Tony's sound effects. Which ones? Asami thinks Ultraman is hiding in the ocean. But all this time, I thought that Ultraman was hiding in space. But of course, the truth is that Ultraman is hiding in Kaminaga, wherever Kaminaga is. And right now, of course, like Scotty mentioned before, Kaminaga is in the library reading books, trying to learn as much as he can about humanity. Yumi is curious how Ultraman breathes and eats, which is a fair question. I don't think we ever actually learned that answer. Does Ultraman eat? Does he drink? Does he breathe? Can he understand human language and thought is the next question, which yes, we do find out that it becomes true. And then another thing I like about this is how, as low budget as this is, it figures out how to expand the universe in such a way where you say, this is all happening to us. But if we look on the internet here, people all around the world on the internet, and this is how it makes it more global, are theorizing about it. And that's a fun idea. So while these events are going on, you have to think about how these disastrous kaiju are affecting the world. Even if they're just attacking Japan right now, everybody is watching these videos and coming up with their own ideas about it and theories. And yeah, because the kaiju are only attacking them now, maybe people think they'll expand their reach one day.
And I love how social media has a presence on here in terms of everybody taking pictures of it. And it's like, oh, who is this? Who is Ultraman? There he is.
It's a creative way to expand the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it's kind of like, and it's an interesting way. Like when you see like CNN clips, like in that not Bryan Cranston Godzilla movie that he was only in for about 20 minutes, even though he was in all of the advertising. A lot of it is shot through CNN and television screens to sort of save on the actual Godzilla budget. But I did want, so Kaminaga is off, or Ultraman is off learning about humanity in the library and whatnot. But I did want to say to Eugene Bird, in terms of hearing Tony's sound effects, it doesn't really do it justice when you see the still image. But a lot of the original musical cues from the television show, the sound effects from the television show, they were very faithful to those sound effects and music, because when they were creating it, they said, if you're going to go see an Ultraman movie, you want those. Like, it's just as important to have the referential music and the original sound effects to make sure that you feel like it's still Ultraman. And again, it's very, very faithful. Even to the point where the Spacium beam, those had been hand drawn on paper and then incorporated into the scenes for the special effect. And they've been done by the same guy since like the early 60s. and he would hand animate, like from Godzilla's atomic breath to Ultraman's e-beam or spacium beam. And so it is very, very reverential to the original source material. But this
It's great.
this
That's great
handsome
to hear
devil,
that they try to keep that similar, as similar as they can to the original. But this, yeah, this is we get another extraterrestrial. We get
Zarab,
Zarab. Zarab or Zarab?
sure,
Zarab?
either one.
Zarab. And he says, "Don't worry about me. I come in peace like Ultraman." But spoilers, he does not.
Well, and that was one of the criticisms of the movie, that it did seem episodic because, as you mentioned, it was based on 5 or 6 episodes from the original series that was all sort of condensed. So this is, if you're being introduced to Ultraman for the first time, this is like a condensed version of that first series. And this is like, Zarab is definitely a villain from before. And one of the things that they did when they created this special effect is, and by the way, the CGI in this is, I think, really good until we get to Zeton at the end. That's the only one that I find a little dodgy. But when they created the CGI model for this, it's just like a front facade. He's hollow in the back. And the reason they did that is because when they made the original show, they never created a back for him because they weren't going to show him from the back. And they incorporated that design into this movie to make him look more
my God.
extraterrestrial. And it was true to the original production design.
That is some serious dedication. An
Yes.
American movie would say, "Make a back for it. What's wrong with you?"
Oh, yeah.
I love the idea of keeping. Yeah, it does make him seem more alien, and I never really questioned it. I, I didn't know that was the case, where they just didn't design his back. That's really cool. But he's introduced by he makes all of the power. He shuts down all the power. The power goes out because he emitted a powerful electromagnetic pulse on his
And he
arrival.
erases all of their data. And
then
so
he gives it back.
And then he gives it back. But like Yumi, it's so funny because this is obviously, as the director sort of stated, what you quoted from him is that it was made for adults who grew up on the original. But there is one swear in this, and it's bleeped. And it is like, whose idea was this? A closed system with no backups? I'd like to fuck that guy up. And even Taki is like, yeah, me too. Yeah, this is stupid. And then Zarab shows up and says, yeah, my bad. Sorry, here's your stuff back. And then the Universal Translator, which is rad.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You read my mind. He's got a universal translator, and so, but and the aliens achieved communication before Asami could figure it out.
Greek Letter says, I think it's better that they didn't make a bag for him because then he'd be slapping his ass, as is the custom in Japan. But she Asami tests out the Universal Translator and says, oh, well, do you know this dialect? And he's like, calm down, kid. Yeah, no, I get it. I did say Universal Translator, didn't I?
It works. And then he basically says, take me to your leader, without saying that directly. He says, please let me speak to the person you call Prime Minister. And he seems the Prime Minister seems unfazed about having a secret meeting with Zarab. Like, okay, yeah, I've seen crazy stuff before, apparently.
Yeah.
But I guess with the kaiju destroying everything, this isn't that weird. And Japan wants it to be kept secret that they've met with an alien who wants to communicate, because the US will be all over it. Zarab seems nice, but he can also disrupt EMP fields. So somebody says he's worse than a kaiju if they end up making him mad, despite the fact that he seems to be showing that he wants to be friends.
But he's a trickster.
But yeah, so this is where things get political. We get talk about economics, military, religion, and they want to make a treaty with him. And they talk with other nations, so it becomes global. And it seems like Zarab is a better politician than the humans. He's that's what they say anyway. He's an extraterrestrial. And so they come up with oh, and then this is where we find out that he's not so positively motivated. Ultraman realizes that under Zarab, the country will be subservient to him, to Zarab.
Which is his goal, but also he does sort of understand the nature of, because he says it's like this world is divided up into smaller sections called countries, and I want to give Japan the power of Zarab, and so
yeah, why is it the end goal of the other alien seems to be extermination of human life? He wants to cause conflict between countries and wipe out humanity.
Yes, and it's like humanity is dangerous. They destroy themselves actively. It's only a matter of time before they destroy one another. And if they're a danger to themselves, then they're probably a danger to the rest of the cosmos. And so it's worth it. It is worth it to eliminate humanity just for our own self-interest. And one of the things that in one of the audio commentaries that I listened to, they were saying that even Zarab, he doesn't really care about humanity. He has no ideas of world domination. This is just like his job. He's middle management to clean up the infestation on Earth.
Yeah. Oh, is that what it is? He actually doesn't have these designs. He just has to do it.
Right. Well, and
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, apparently in the original show, Zarab was not the proper name of this alien. It was the race that he came from. And it's sort of ambiguous here if he's like, I am Zarab. Is that like saying I am Klingon?
Oh, you're right. Because he says you must be detained until I finish my work.
Mm-hmm. Why are you playing secret games?
To efficiently eliminate the native intelligent life forms. Yeah. Well, you put it perfectly when you say infestation. There's really not much more to say than that because humanity is not currently a danger to the cosmos, but has the potential to be dangerous if they are allowed to continue and continue developing.
The carbon units are not an infestation. They are a vital function.
Yeah, that's a good parallel to Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
You are already mine, Ultraman.
Yes, he's going to put him to sleep.
And turn it and it's just when Kaminaga is in his human form, he really doesn't have much going on. Hence the need for a gun.
Well, this is the first time that I realized that Kaminaga is Ultraman in the movie, and that he's been incapacitated by Zarab, and Zarab is worse than any kaiju, and the government officials were right to say that. He put Ultraman to sleep somehow, and now the good alien is out of the picture, and Zarab is free to manipulate world politics. So he's well, we find out eventually that this is not actually Ultraman. This is Zarab disguised as Ultraman, causing destruction.
Destruction, terror, and mayhem. Bring me a sucker. I'll slay him almost what? farmers. What? I'm ready. We're ready. I think I'm gonna bomb a tap. Sorry, just had a fit of LL Cool J.
So Zarab as Ultraman destroys Yokosuka base. So they think that Ultraman is now their enemy.
Well, and again, just in the storytelling of the superhero, like this is evil Superman, and it is the next sort of phase of the episode where it's like, you know, that the issue of Ultraman where Ultraman turns bad. Well, let's do that, but it's not really Ultraman; it's someone pretending to be Ultraman, and so it's kind of rad. You get all of the superhero beats in this movie, which I adore. I just think it's fantastic. Gavin Blackburn says, Zarab's worse than Klaatu and Gort. Absolutely. Greek Letters says, these are the worst words that you can hear from aliens. We are from outer space, and we're here to help. And then Canadian Spider-Man is here. Hello and good morning to Antiderivative Jill and Scotty R37. Hey, Spidey, it's good to see you.
It is great to see you. Hello, Canadian Spider-Man. My voice is still recovering, but we're here enjoying this film because I know I can't finish 2024 without talking about it. And okay, so where are we in my notes? I don't even know.
Evil Ultraman. We still haven't seen a close-up of Evil Ultraman because there are some design differences.
Well, here we are. Since Ultraman destroyed the base, the team is going to go out to try to destroy him. But already the captain knows something else is happening. Someone is making he I think he believes in Ultraman and thinks that someone is puppeteering him or something.
So,
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. Well, and it's also like I like this one having like an impersonator of Ultraman as opposed to the manipulation of Ultraman. Like I like that idea better. But you can see in terms of Zarab as Ultraman, his eyes are a little bit more angular, and apparently that was something that they incorporated in the original. They made it so that there were subtle physical differences to make it so that the audience would be able to say, wait a second, that's not Ultraman. But apparently you can get the variant action figure if you want. So you can get Zarab Ultraman or you can get regular Ultraman. So you can get both of them and have them fight.
You can even buy the silver one. You know, they call it the First Contact. Because I don't even look at toys ever, but I looked up Ultraman toys.
That's wicked.
Yeah, it is.
So they find the car that Kaminaga was abducted from.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so yeah, her friends, Asami's friends, find the car, and Taki gets really excited. He found a video where it looks like a human is turning into Ultraman, and they find out. This is where the team finds out that Kaminaga is Ultraman, or Ultraman appears to be Kaminaga in reality.
Yes. Which again, just it's so exciting because usually this would be something that you'd be like back and forth a bunch of times, being like, Kaminaga, we think you're Ultraman. I'm not Ultraman. All right, well, we'll see. And then it gets dragged out. But in this one, like this, we're just sort of end of first act, beginning of second act, and secret identity has been revealed. So we don't even have to worry about that anymore.
That's what I mean when I say this movie doesn't slow down with filler. When you figure something out, they hold on to it and they tell you, and you move on to something else that's cool, and it doesn't slow down, and that's what I appreciate about it. And so now everybody knows why Kaminaga goes missing every time Ultraman shows up, and why Kaminaga doesn't know about sharing coffee.
Right. See, isn't this picture? Isn't this giving anybody else like strong Jill vibes?
It kind of does.
Lemon Pie is here.
Trust you all this time. Hi, Lemon Pie. He's got a tentacle sticking out from his what?
No, it's Japanese. There are going to be tentacles everywhere. Although he spun around Bowser by the tentacles.
Yeah. Bowser Gabora. Bowser
Yes.
Gabora.
Zaza Gabor.
And now the captain's considering this new information. Oh, look at that. A behind shot of Enterprise. So pretty. His phone number's been canceled. And meanwhile, Zarab has created a very helpful Ultraman elimination plan because now Ultraman is trouble, so we must eliminate him.
And apparently, this is a reference to another series of Ultraman that does come up in one of the subsequent spin-offs. They actually try and enact an elimination specific, like quote unquote, elimination plan.
Yeah, and Zarab wants the government to destroy him, but they want to learn more about him. So this is where I learned about the Spacium 133. It's a super heavy element, the source of his energy, and also how he flies. And then the DPA minister expresses some doubt that it was really Ultraman that destroyed the base and questions whether or not Ultraman is really the enemy. And so that ups the ante to where Zarab says, oh yeah, he's the enemy and he's going to do something really terrible next. I'm just like rephrasing what's actually being said. And meanwhile, we finally see what's actually happened to Ultraman. In his Kamanaga form, he's been tied up and he's been kidnapped and held in an underground garage. Enterprise, yeah. This movie has lots of shots of the Enterprise. It's really nice. A model, of course.
Servo and Ultraman teaming up. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, DJ Knight says that. And I do appreciate that somebody's questioning it. And so there's Ultraman, and Zarab is kind of, I don't know, just teasing him, saying you need the beta system to summon your Ultraman body. And Zarab also wants his Ultraman's ignition device, which is how Ultraman can change into Ultraman from his human form. But he doesn't have it on him. Where is it? He sent it to his buddy, Asami. There's the envelope. And he gives the device to her. So he's learned about sharing coffee now, except it's not coffee, it's his ignition device. Unfortunately, since the government didn't want to destroy Ultraman, okay, so
Zarab?
Zarab is he's gonna have Ultraman do something even worse. So now everyone agrees that he must be destroyed, even Captain Tamura. However, Asami, of course, was just given this item by Ultraman, so she goes. She finds Ultraman's friend. I don't know who's this friend. Is that ever revealed who this friend is? Who says, "Hey, come with me"?
I think it's one. Okay, so remember how Asami used to work for the Defense Force, and so I think, and also Kaminaga used to work for the Defense Force as well, because they say, how come we can't find him? And it's like, oh, in his previous position, his job was like getting lost. He was excellent at covert things. So I think they have a mutual. This guy on the left, he is sort of a mutual friend between Kaminaga and Asami. And so Kaminaga had spoken to him, and she had spoken to him as well in terms of trying to find out where he had gone off to. And apparently he has left a radioactive trail just with like glow in the dark ink kind of thing.
Oh, now I remember. Okay, so this friend was communicating with Ultraman earlier in that scene we saw with the car and
Right.
Zarab. And yeah, there's tracking with with the ink on the ground. That's helpful.
Greek letter says, now that's a proper metaphor. Coffee is an ignition device after all. That's true, man. I never thought about that.
It definitely helped me this morning.
Yeah. So as the rest of the team goes to see if they can enact the Ultraman elimination plan, Asami is off attempting to find Kaminaga.
Yes, and well, she's been given the location. And
oh no, Jill. Oh no,
what's happening? What's wrong?
Asami rescues Kaminaga. This movie is woke.
No,
badass girl boss comes to save the day. What kind of horse shit is this?
If this movie were woke, she'd be doing everything with no help from anyone, and the men would be only getting in her way and trying to put her down. But she's the super girl boss who must, stomp on them with her heels. And that's not this movie. What are you talking about? This movie is 0% woke.
Okay.
I
stand corrected.
She's the main character, and she does a lot of heroic things, but she does it because of her friendship with others, and she's equal with other characters. She's just the main character because, as established, she comes from that defense force, so it makes sense that she's the one who's compelled to be active in the search for Kaminaga. And who is her partner?
Her buddy.
So, no, sorry. That doesn't work. It's not woke.
Brogu is here.
Hey, Brogu.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Jill and Scotty. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Happy early Thanksgiving, everyone.
And Kaminaga was even underestimating her that she could find him. And she does. With the help of his friend and her team and everything. Because even though Tamura has to consider Ultraman a threat, he still sees the value in Asami and allows her to go on this mission. He doesn't try to hold her back or anything. So
she's acting independently. So it's even like turning a blind eye to allow her to go and find him.
Well, they even say it makes sense for you to be independent too, because your partner is also independent.
Yeah. Nice legs, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the conversation. You made fools of us. You lied to us. I like how Kaminaga is like, I didn't lie to you. I just didn't tell you. It was an omission. I didn't do nothing wrong.
No, that's not true. Lying by omission is also a thing.
No, I know, but we're talking about an intergalactic intelligence that doesn't know that maybe bringing a coffee is nice. So maybe that omission is a protective omission.
And we get the first hints that, of course, this really isn't Ultraman, not just because he's tied up in a garage, but also that the location where the imposter Ultraman is a place where electronics are not working. And are you an extraterrestrial? So yeah, so this is all a big reveal for her. He says he's both extraterrestrial and human, but she believes in him. This is all good character stuff. And so he's got to go fight the imposter.
and it's so. I think it's rad.
And
At the moment that she gives him the beta unit, Zarab punches through the parking garage where he's left Kaminaga and grabs Asami and does like the classic lifting up of the of almost like a King Kong thing where holding our heroine.
yes, and except that she's not afraid of him in any way, so she's not screaming like like the lady
Right.
who's being pulled out of her apartment out of nowhere and admired by a giant ape.
Ape, yes.
So she gives him back his igniter, and that's why he's able to return to his Ultraman form, and so he can go defeat his optical illusion, his imposter. And this is the part of the movie that I was sure would happen, which is a fight in a heavily populated area where they actually can't evacuate everybody like they would want to normally. And so Kaminaga leaves just in time because just then the imposter Ultraman is rampaging, and Ultraman fights against the fake one, and so this is another great fight. All the fights are great.
Yeah.
So just watch this movie. You're not gonna get a good feel for it just looking at the stills, but there are some good poses.
Everyone's excited. Oh, good. The real Ultraman has arrived.
Right. And she is tossed in the air, but when she lands in Ultraman's hands, she is not harmed somehow.
Well, I think it's like that. He cups her and brings her back down. Like he does soften the landing.
No. And once it's revealed that it really is Zarab, because he beats him up until the illusion fades.
Well, and it is cool, like with this fight, apparently one of the stunts for it, it looks like Ultraman hurt his hand hitting Zarab. That was like an outtake because the actor actually did hurt his hand hitting the other, or the stunt double hurt his hands hitting the other stunt double. But I like that when he does hit at that moment and it does sort of he pulls back in pain. He changes from Ultraman just for a split second into Zarab. It's so good. And then the fight continues. There's a lot of collateral damage, but let's hope that the evacuations were helpful, were beneficial.
And some of the best scenes are when there's an actual injury, unfortunately, and that's actually incorporated into the battle. Like it's unfortunate that they got hurt, but it looks good. And Zarab uses his powers that they kind of look like electromagnetic fields, which makes sense, of course, because that's what he does. So it's like physics class, you draw these fields on your paper while you're learning physics, but that he's actually able to to make these fields visible, which is neat. And Zarab tries to run away, but Ultraman pursues him, and they fight in the air. And Zarab avoids crashing by flying over. Oh wait, not Zarab. That's Ultraman. Zarab avoids crashing by flying over into the street because of an attack by Zarab. And let's see, when is that going to happen? There it is. So now I need an Ultraman Thanksgiving balloon tomorrow. Anybody in charge of the balloons at the Macy's Day Parade need to give me this balloon. I don't care what it costs. Do it.
Well, this is the Macy's Day Thanksgiving Parade, or the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. That's an American holiday. You really want the Japanese icon?
Kind of.
Okay.
But look at that. Doesn't it belong in a parade?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
No, I know it'll never happen. I was just being silly.
No, it's totally. I would love it. It would be great.
And I wanted to mention the holiday. It's Thanksgiving Eve.
For Americans.
And yeah, for anybody listening live, if you're listening on the replay, happy Thanksgiving or Merry Christmas.
Brogu says, yes, we do want Japanese icons in the parade. Greek letters. What are you going to do? Eat the turkey with chopsticks?
If I want. No. As long as I have gravy, I don't care what utensils I have to use.
So we do get to see the spacium beam, but also he can generate spacium shurikens, like ninja stars, and that's pretty rad. That's how
that's how he slices the rab in half.
Yes.
But I like the way you described it. I didn't know what that was. It looked like, power drill things, but I didn't think of ninja. Of course, it's ninja stars.
Circular saw blades.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, I missed it. I missed it in this. I'm not going to go back to it, but Asami uses a saw blade as she's saving Kaminaga or rescuing him. So she rescues him. He rescues her. It's mutual.
It's a circle of life.
Yeah. Totally not what. Tommy thanks Kaminaga as he flies away. And he, of course, she calls him Kaminaga-san, which, of course, is how you address someone you respect. That's like saying sir. And the government is looking for Kaminaga. So they're like, where is Kaminaga? And Morgan Price.
I'll do you one better. Why is Kaminaga?
If a person can become Ultraman, anyone would want to take advantage of him. So Ultraman is in hiding. And Yumi protests his human rights aren't being considered, but the government doesn't view him as a human, but as an extraterrestrial. And that Kaminaga is already dead. So they figured it out somehow. I don't know how they figured it out so soon. I didn't even know that yet.
Yeah, so it is public knowledge that Kaminaga is Ultraman or has the power to transform.
Yes. But what is the problem is that Asami's also missing, so everybody's gossiping that she went off to marry Kaminaga.
Yes. See, maybe that's where I'm getting this is the gossip and hearsay from the movie itself. I'm like, oh yeah, no, Lois and Clark.
Then she does appear, but she's a giant attack of the 50-foot woman.
She's the kaiju now. Before she pursued the kaiju, now she is pursued as the kaiju.
Yeah, she's a giant, and it doesn't look like she's acknowledging the presence of anyone around her. She's like in a trance.
Yes. Now so we have evil Lois essentially under the thrall of an unknown attacker. Greek letter says, use the saw blade, manifests shuriken, or are we talking about Ultraman or Saw? I'm confused. No, it's Ultraman. Ultraman can manifest shuriken. Mm-hmm. Energy shuriken.
And yeah, they're under attack from the giant female. So fun. And given this threat, the prime minister immediately allows lethal force against her. Like they turned on her quick.
Well, it is frightening, and so I like that the rest of the team jumps up and is like tries to talk to her to make sure everybody's on their scanning devices, their sensor devices, or iPads that are linked to sensor devices. Oh my God, it's the attack of the
Right.
50-foot woman. True story, GJ. Right? Franco says the Japanese eat KFC for Christmas dinner. They can't because KFC is closed. But this is also something. This is along the same lines as the ass slap, is because we do have Sami walking through the streets, and there is a POV shot. I would say a tasteful POV shot, but from street level looking up, so you get a sense of the scale. And it is almost an upskirt. And people were like, what is this objectification? But you never really see anything.
Really?
It's not, yeah, people were
That's
being like
overreacting.
lascivious. But also they do address
She's just
it.
a sexy lady. It's not her fault.
I know. That's what I was thinking. But they do address it later as well, which I thought was sort of an interesting and awesome what do you call it? Meta commentary on what was going on. But so she busts her elbow into one of the skyscrapers and then stands there ready to kick over another building. And then the booming voice says, I just want you to know that Ultraman isn't the only one with this technology.
Yeah, so that's Zarab starting to stir up shit.
No, that's not Zarab. Zarab's dead.
Zarab's dead? Wait,
Yeah,
who
this
does
is
this?
Mephiles.
Mephiles. Okay. See, I get confused with all the villains. There's so many villains and kaiju and things. Sorry, I got mixed up. I forgot
No, you're
Zarab
cool.
was cut. Zarab was cut in half
Right.
and destroyed. I think my problem in my notes is that we hadn't met Mephiles yet, and so it was just a disembodied voice just saying, "This is just a demonstration
of our power." Franco, I do stand corrected. KFC isn't closed in Japan at Christmas. That's true.
Yes, this is true. Mm-hmm. They eat
says,
it in Christmas.
It'll be someone in the audience being pervy saying, could you take off all your clothes, please? Yes. And yeah, Brogu. There it is. There's your upskirt. But, you know.
There is... There's a bit of that where they say, what do they say pretty soon? That she's not exactly human. We can't cut her hair, we can't cut her skin or her clothes. So
right.
So
you can't
cut her clothes. So you can't even take off her clothes. And actually I do have a note here. They had this scene was filmed on the first day of principal photography, and Nagasawa stated that Higuchi gave her explicit instructions on how to act, so that it worked along with the computer graphics for the movie. And when she collapses and falls to the ground, she's supposed to remain motionless, but she had trouble doing that. And the director apologized to her afterwards. When does that happen? Where the director's like, "Oh, I'm sorry about this." Like, what? I don't hear about that going on like all the time. There's just like, you did your scene, you did it right. Who writes down a note? Sorry for the inconvenience.
Well, again, it's a hierarchical, respect-based society within their own culture.
I just like that, though. I want more of that. It's lovely. Mm-hmm. And this stuffy again. Also, there's this octopus stuck in resin. Or no, jellyfish. Jellyfish.
Hmm.
Mm. And so the government's really excited to get this technology to make people giant. And
so
they want to militarize it. Yeah. The whole world is going to want this. And so they that's why they're still looking for Kaminaga. He's nowhere to be found, but there he is. There's the real Kaminaga. He is dead. And there's the Ultraman Kaminaga that he fused with. That Ultraman fused with. And this is where I realized the real Kamigawa was dead. That's how long it took for me, and that to figure it out. That Ultraman accidentally killed Kaminaga as Kaminaga was trying to successfully save a little boy. The little boy was fine. It was just Kaminaga who died from the attack, and so Ultraman became intensely curious and just fell in love with humanity and wanted to become human, and so he did.
Yeah, sure. Greek letters in the chat says, as you can tell from the activity in the chat, this is the best part of the movie, the upskirt part.
I'm glad you like that slide.
It's worth the price of admission alone. And Greek letters says it doesn't count as an upskirt view if she's wearing panties. No, it counts, but if you don't see, like it is, it again, in days of old, a glimpse of stocking was looked on as something shocking.
Right.
DJ Knight says, Giganta from the DC Comics. Yes. Maybe there is a way to make women grow gigantic. Well, see, and then I remember you texted me when you got this, and you're like, "Oh,
yeah." She's they have Asami roped off. She's got tarp. She's tied up like the giant from Gulliver's Travels, and that's exactly what the chief says. But they say, "Oh no, that's an outdated reference." But it's not too old. It's a classic, so it transcends time, I think.
Those references are too old. I like, and that's the thing. I'm getting to the point now where, what the hell are you talking about? What the F is the Monster Squad? No one's seen the Monster Squad.
And when you say that this movie does use some realistic science, they did a composite electromagnetic scan of her body to determine, using, heat energy variances to determine what she is. And they realized she isn't entirely quite human. It's composed of a known homogeneous material different from human somatic cells. And so they're trying to figure out what she is. Her cell structure is different. And you can't cut her skin, her clothes, her hair. And who is trying to cut her clothes? She's practically indestructible.
Yeah.
And that's it. And they realize that they're in over their head, basically biologically, on what this is, because it flips everything they know on its head. And I love this room. That is just one entire giant whiteboard. That's amazing. And they're this is the part of the movie where the humans are starting to feel small. They say something like, all the knowledge humanity has accumulated up to now amounts to nothing more than common sense for extraterrestrials. But yeah, look at this room. Everything's a whiteboard. You can draw everywhere. But the ceiling should be whiteboard too.
She's one hell of a bouncy castle. Well, if she can't get hurt, I don't see what's wrong with that. Good call, Franco. Who's trying to cut her clothes? Every man out there. I tell you what. But again, it's all scientific method, even with the lack of information that they have. It's all like, okay, so what do we know? We've done the electromagnetic scan. She's a homogeneous material. She's made of homogeneous materials. We know she's alive. We know she's breathing. That's about the size of it.
Yeah. They can't figure out how she's giant. As much as they can observe, they can't actually put together how this happened. So we get another alien called Mephilas or Mephilas.
I've been saying Mephilas.
Mephiles. Okay, Mephiles wants to bring the gospel, whatever the hell that means. He wants to be worshipped, is what it is. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. One of my favorite sayings. This guy.
Now, apparently, this guy was a very prominent theater actor in Japan, or probably still is. But I think, and I take this in agreement with the people from the audio commentary, who I'll reference in a moment. But he's so charismatic, and this is our primary antagonist for the most of the movie. There's one more after this, but this guy is sort of like the Moriarty. And he has this larger, before it's miniaturized. This is basically the beta box. Yeah, like the beta box that Ultraman uses to change from Kaminaga into Ultraman. And this is, he shows this, and it sort of floats down from the sky. And because they're like, will you prove that you're an alien? And he's like, this should do it. And so he brings it back and then snaps his fingers. I think he snaps his fingers. And then Asami is shrunk down. And the line that she gives here, she's like, I wasn't drinking. Why am I sleeping in plastic sheets? So I don't know if it's cultural. If you had a bender the night before in Japan and then you go to sleep just to make sure that nothing bad happens, you sleep in plastic sheets. But I thought it was a weird
I don't
comment.
know about that. I thought that was weird too. I thought it was funny. Oh, I didn't get. Let me see if I have that.
Oh, you got it? Or no, you're looking for it.
No, never mind. No, I didn't get the. That was a problem. Now I'm lost in my notes. I need to find where I am in my notes for a second.
Like, I can't stress enough, and I think that you would agree with me, in that this is, if it is a possibility, if you can find it on a streaming service, if you can acquire it in any way, if you're interested in like giant monster movies, if you like Japanese Godzilla movies, if you're intrigued with Ultraman, or if you're a fan of Ultraman from way back, this is just an across the board. This is 5 stars. This is like an A+ movie for me. And I would say that watching it is the best way to tell. If you trust my recommendation at all, then and also I felt the same. If you're sort of trepidatious about watching it, so was I when Hungry Boy said, "Oh, you got to see this. It's amazing." And yeah, and I was so grateful and pleasantly surprised.
I was real happy that I was able to find this for free. It's currently, hopefully, remaining in archive.org, so you can find it there right now. As of the timing of this live stream, I don't know for how long it'll be there, but right now it's there.
Hey, there we go. And if you don't want to take my word for it, Brogu says, I absolutely love Ultraman, and I think this is an A+ movie as well. Excellent.
Nice. Yeah, it's almost perfect. Greek Letters Larson says, in Japan, when you're getting drunk, you sleep in plastic sheets. Well, we don't know if that's actually true. In the US, you sleep in a bathtub. In Mexico, you sleep and you wake up without kidneys. It's a cultural thing.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs.
DJ Play Night says, I set alarms too. Oh well. I couldn't find my Ultraman t-shirt, and I guess I needed the sleep. I'll be part of the replay crew. And if you didn't talk about Inframan as well, you seem to know way more than I do. I don't know Inframan.
Yeah.
This is my first time knowing anything about Ultraman at all. But I'm glad you're here, DJ Play Nice.
Yeah. No, and that's something that was, I realized just based on the legacy of Ultraman, there's probably a lot of stuff in here for dyed-in-the-wool Ultraman fans to be like, oh, wow, that's an interesting. Oh, geez, they included that.
Yes. And when I tried to go through fans of this, talking about all the things, all the references, I got lost instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the magic of this movie, is you don't actually have to know any of those references to enjoy it. Brogu says Inframan is great as well.
I've
I'll have
written
to
it
try
down.
it.
I'm going to check it out. Franco Walker says, hey, DJ Play Nice. I was so tired I fell asleep during the stream. Laugh out loud. Well, I hope it wasn't because we were bored. Oh, classic Mephiles. Strike while the iron is hot. One of my favorite sayings. He's just so charismatic in this. Love it.
Self-defense through extraterrestrials through making humans giant. So he's just going to give you the technology, no problem. All you have to do is worship him.
Well, and he says, well, I guess he says it later. He says it to Kaminaga. So he's an intergalactic arms trader, and he dresses as such as well. Just he's very, again, maybe that's why I like him too, just with the black suit, black shirt, black tie.
Yes. And so Asami finally shows up back to work. She's been prodded and probed by every government agency, and no test could help them figure out how she became giant. And then she's upset because she's all over the internet, everywhere, of course. So Mephiles actually erases everything with her in it online, and this makes her so happy.
What? Oh, when he deletes it.
Yeah, he deletes it.
Yeah, but even then, like, and she goes through, and it's interesting because it even has the little block, like the little boxes that are like not safe for work, like the little eye with the line through it, because you can't browse it on a secure or on a work computer. So there's obviously there are pictures from people who are on the ground who looked straight up. And so Mephiles says, oh, I didn't mean to, I'm sorry. Because he's still trying to make himself sound like benevolent. And, or at least to the humans. And he's like, oh, I didn't realize of the base instincts or the lesser lascivious instincts of people on this world. So I do apologize. I'll take care of this. And he basically cleanses the internet of all of Asami's, less than flattering images. Actually, all of them, because she wants to have a certain level of anonymity.
Because she wants to keep being an agent.
Mm-hmm.
So, Eugene Bird says the coffee cup from 6 minutes ago had the Lagrangian from the standard model of particle physics on it. And so I don't know too much about particle physics, so I'm sure I mispronounced that. And some Feynman diagrams. I do know about Richard Feynman. He is awesome. Used to calculate the probability of particle interactions.
See, and I think that's just sort of, serendipity that I was watching this and I was like, oh, this is a wicked Superman movie. And then when I watched it again in preparation for this, I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of math. Jill's going to love it.
I do. It's but it's particle physics. I don't know. I don't know particle physics. I got up to unparticle physics. I only got up to physics 2. We're all in the same boat. Does he like that one? I don't remember. Yeah, one of my favorite sayings. and Mephiles wants Ultraman to work with him and not fight him. It's interesting the aliens are having especially Mephiles, loves swinging. He likes to play.
Well, and so Mephiles says that he's been there for quite a while,
Yes.
and trying to find a way to take over the human race, trying to take over Earth. And then Ultraman is like, "So, did you do the kaiju?
He did
Did
the
you do the
kaiju.
kaiju?" And
He
he's
did
like,
the
"No, no, no,
kaiju.
no, no. That was the humans themselves awoke the kaiju. They
Yeah,
were
but
there.
he says that he's responsible for them at the same time. That humans woke them.
They were awoken by man, but he manipulates them.
Okay. Because
I think.
I felt like he was saying the same, like he was saying humans did it and then he did it.
Well, yeah, humans awoke the kaiju, and then he manipulated them
Mhm.
to undermine humanity.
Yeah, he says I then used the next generation invisible kaiju to attack the electrical industry. So yeah, he directed them. And the subterranean kaiju was designed to feed on nuclear waste. They also served as sufficient bait to lure you out. So he was also trying to lure out Ultraman, which worked.
Yeah,
And he was just, I've used what I could obtain on this planet, including Zarab. So Zarab was just Mephiles' being used
bitch.
by him. Yeah.
Yes. Well, and again, it's it's just a gig to the Zarab.
Well,
He
and
gets hired, and
he's successful at making humans feel powerless in terms of showing them this technology that they don't understand. And he wants them to be dependent on him for that, for knowing more than than he does. So there's a superiority complex. It's pretty strong, obviously, since he wants to be worshipped.
yes,
And they also talk about, this is a very important scene, which is why
yes,
I'm on it for so long, because they also talk about how Ultraman is the first successful example of human fusion. And now, because Ultraman has done this, Mephiles knows that humanity can be a biological resource for the cosmos to become a powerful weapon. So he wants to raise human like cattle to use them as for his own purposes as weapons. He says, I want to have absolute dominion over this abundant and precious biological resource before it is ravaged by other intelligent life. And to give them the beta box to protect them when other aliens come, to protect their, the resource.
yeah,
And then a police raid appears, and they both disappear and go have a drink.
yeah. This is kind of like the Batman Joker from The Dark Knight. And so you get the villain and the hero having a conversation, or having like De Niro and Pacino in Heat. They have their civil conversation
Oh, yeah.
before war.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Unlike the native species
But again,
of this planet, we are civilized. That's right. That's exactly how Mephiles feels.
Their dependence on the mighty. Hey, DJ Play Nice says, thanks for hosting today. Your voice is returning. Don't overstress it. Please. We all missed you a lot. I'm happy that you're back.
Thank you, DJ.
And from another DJ says, Jill, don't overstress yourself, okay? DJ
Okay,
Play
I'll
Nice
try.
says,
This movie makes me more excited, though, so I kind of lose it sometimes.
we've got dueling DJs telling you to take care of yourself and make sure that you never go away again.
Yeah, I'll try. Oh, and then all the kids disappear. Where did they go? That was weird.
I think it had something to do with the SWAT team showing up. Maybe
Oh,
they ran
right.
away.
That makes sense. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, men, a bunch of men with a bunch of guns. Okay, never mind. It's not weird at all.
Hey, mommy, should I stay here? No, son.
I thought we were buddies. Oh,
That is, and I'll get, when we get there, I will let you know. But that is the only thing that I have wrong with this movie. And it's the very last line.
okay. Oh, and so they're at the bar. Japanese is izakaya bar, and I mention it because apparently this restaurant was inundated with reservations after this movie was released. They got a
Oh,
lot of
nice.
business. They do make it look really good. Brogu's got to go. Thank you so much for being here today, Brogu.
Cheers, Brogu.
Yeah, he says goodbye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the stream. Enjoy your Thanksgiving and enjoy your weekend. This is the way.
Have a good one. Thanks, Brogu.
Yes. And so the problem here is that Mephiles is that he wants humans to worship and obey him, which is the thing humans are not capable of actually doing in practice. However, they will want to accept his gifts of planetary defenses against other aliens. So governments, may pretend that they're doing this, I suppose. It depends on how much worship Mephiles is demanding, but we never actually see the culmination of that. And he blames humanity for the existence of the kaiju and uses it against them because they didn't take care of the earth. So there's an indictment against humanity for their lack of stewardship to their own planet.
Yes.
Scotty, what is a kaiju?
Oh, Greek letters answers it quite adeptly. Those monsters that Ultraman fought. Yeah, they're like Godzilla's a kaiju, Mothra's a kaiju. All the monsters in the first act of this movie, they're all kaiju. It's basically Japanese giant monsters.
Is it that simple? Just Japanese giant monsters?
As far as I can tell.
Yeah. Because I think now I think I put in my notes. Pokemon are like house cats, and the kaiju are giant tigers.
I like this. FKHC 2005 says, "Oh, great! Humanity is on trial because of someone. Isn't that always the case?" Yes, godlike creatures.
Well, and Mephiles thinks that he can judge humanity, kind of like Q.
Well, yeah. I like how it's interdimensional. Like all of this is, I'm taking over. All right, Mephiles. I'll make you powerful, but you bow to me.
Well, and that's what he's using the kaiju for, is to make humans submit and so that he can use them as weapons. So that's why the humans couldn't defeat the electrical aliens or the radiation aliens, is because those were the ones that Mephiles manipulated. But the ones that were naturally coming up, they seem to be able to figure those out on their own.
Well, and this is where sorry.
That's also how he's like Q. He's like, okay, you could do that. You could defeat the kaiju that are coming up naturally. But what happens when I manipulate things? Now you cannot defeat them. Now you must realize you're powerless, and I'm the only one who can help you. And I'm gonna give you these beta boxes to do what Ultraman could do. But it's a different kind of way that he wants to save them, through force and fear.
And this is also the conversation where we are introduced somewhat, at least to the concept of the planet of light where Ultraman is from. And so there is a code of the planet of light in that Ultraman can't get himself involved in politics or terrorism or crime or anything like that. And so if humans, if things have come to pass because of human machinations, then Ultraman can't do anything about it. And since Mephiles
He's
said,
not supposed to, yeah.
and so Mephiles said, I'll give you beta boxes so you can defend against the kaijus yourself, and you guys can do whatever you want, and I'll do it exclusively with Japan, so that you'll be the most powerful, the superpower on the planet. And he shows him the contract and says, see, humans did it of their own volition. So you can't interfere based on the code of the planet of light, which is sort of that. It's like Jor-El telling Superman, it's like, you must not interrupt their history, Kal-El.
Yeah. Basically, Mephiles wants Ultraman to just go home and not fight him, but Ultraman's just not going to do that.
Ultraman says, he's like, well, Ultraman's like, I am going to like use brute force against you. I think it's the human part of me.
Yeah, he says, as you said, for us to rule humans would be to take all hope from them. It will stifle their independent progress. I can't allow that.
Yeah. And that I love this sort of the end of the scene. And it's like he asks the waiter and he's like, can I have the bill? And it's like, Ultraman, we're going to split it. I'm only paying for my own. You're on your own, pal. So it's kind of like insult to injury. I like it. Excuse me for just 1 second. I'll be back in a flash.
Sure. Absolutely. But Mephiles says he loves the human race, but he just loves them as a resource. But he's already gotten the agreement signed with the country, so the natives sought the beta system of their own accord. So he's given them beta boxes, and they've agreed to it. And so Ultraman. It seems like Ultraman can't do anything about Mephiles. And he also says the planet of light is aware of your actions. So the planet of light knows what Ultraman's doing. And what Ultraman's done actually might end up becoming, dooming this planet. He says, you're going to end up dooming this planet. Even so. So Ultraman says, even so, I want to protect these helpless, vulnerable little life forms. Are you sure that's your wish and not that of the human inside you, Ultraman? And so he can't, Mephiles can't get Ultraman to agree to subjugate humans. So yeah, he makes him pay for half of the drink and snacks. It looks like there was some soybeans, some edamame. Anyway, Ultraman's decided he wants to protect humans from harm, but Mephiles has already gotten them to agree to worship him for the beta weapons. So still, Ultraman is on human side. Despite what Asami was thinking earlier, he's still her buddy. And he won't let Mephiles have the planet all to himself or to allow him to subjugate humanity. Mephiles just wants humanity to be a subservient resource for him. But Ultraman refuses to cooperate. So I suppose that gets us to where we're going here. And then we get another slap. Ultraman asks to meet with Asami and the team. And they do. If humans can be used as bioweapons. Yeah. Basically. Ultraman says that they need to take the beta box from Mephiles so that the team has to go against the government to save humanity. And so that and normally, of course, this agency actually goes with the government. So they have to go against it this time in order to save humanity. So basically. So they're like, how do we get the beta box? It's hidden in the plank brain dimension. And so
because there's a multiverse.
Yeah, there's multiverse. Okay, so that's impossible. Quantified physical data can't be detected from the outside. One piece of data can't be quantified, and that's where Ultraman sniffs her all over, and I'm not sure I understand why.
Okay.
The residual odor.
There is a residual, and it's funny because there's a part where Asami says, "Oh, I was going to take a bath today," and so Ultraman says, because you were affected by the beta box, if I smell your quantum signature, like smell it, literally, then I'll be able to find the beta box. Because of you were transferred through the Planck dimension, the beta box controls the Planck dimension. I'll be able to sniff out the beta box if I get the scent from you. And
Now that
apparently,
makes sense.
this is what they said, is that it is part of string theory in terms of if there are multiple dimensions. They actually got quantum physicists to talk about how would you be able to detect something like this, and there are like olfactory differences in quantum signatures, and that's apparently what they were going for here.
It's too cool. I think that's incredible. Lots of fun. Well, maybe it'll come across better if you actually watch the movie. Greek letters are, I don't know. The problem with this movie is the script is a convoluted mess. If they stuck to Ultraman beating monsters, they would have taken all the Oscars.
Well, and Anno, the co-director, shepherd of the Shin universe, of the four Shin movies, he wasn't as interested in doing the kaiju in this movie because of Shin Godzilla and how much of that was the humans versus the catastrophe, as opposed to the invasion and negotiation and morality. It's supposed to be something more of an idealistic or hopeful film. So that's why it sort of escalates and goes to the negotiation and the underhanded dealings of Mephiles, and as we will see soon, Zoffy, who we haven't met quite yet. So it is an escalation, and again, I can see it as being a sort of a mess, because it is basically a truncated version of the first series, or of Ultraman, not of Ultra Q, but of Ultraman. So I get where you're coming from.
I don't think it's a mess. I think that we move from villain to villain in a very methodical fashion, and we go from kaiju. Well, and the kaijus are connected to the villains, aliens who are trying to manipulate the kaiju to manipulate humanity. And I think that's an amazing thing.
I think it's
and also governments. Also, the governments here, they're having the alien is having the Japanese government sign away their country to him, basically.
But I just get how
beta box.
Sometimes not everything has to be for everyone, and if you find it convoluted, I can dig it. But as I've said, as far as I'm concerned, this goes at a really decent clip. I'm with Jill. There's not really a wasted moment. It all works for me. The acting, the characters, even if they are if the characters are reduced to archetypes as opposed to actually being people, which I heard was a criticism, which I don't really agree with, because I think that a lot of the personalities of these people come through even in brief moments. But yeah, hey, if it isn't your cup of tea or your brand of vodka, I can dig it. But thanks for sticking around today, yo. Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Well, that's true. Greek Letters watched most of my Harry Potter streams and doesn't like Harry Potter at all, and still hangs around. So I do appreciate your company.
And Penny's here. Hey, Penny.
Hey, Penny.
Penny says,
Scotty, been busy with prepping the turkey for this evening. Nice.
Gobble, gobble.
Yeah, I got to get that defrosted, hopefully. So Ultraman and the team gotta take this beta box away, and justify the means. One of my least favorite scenes. So there's the beta box that Japan is supposed to get in return for their signature. Ultraman takes it.
Ultraman takes it. But because he has, as Greek Letter said, Ultraman, Planet of Light Prime Directive, he can't do anything with it. He tosses it into a helicopter so that the humans they still have it. He hasn't broken any rules.
Yes.
See, if you go back one, it does. Mephiles knows. He's like, and no pun intended. He's like, oh, you used Hissent to find the beta box through the Planck dimension. But
yeah, how does he figure that out?
Because he's Mephiles, yo.
Okay. And also he says, just wait a moment, I'll get it back.
Yes. Eugene Bird says, in string theory, if there were more dimensions, gravitons, closed strings would move into them. This measurement of gravity at very small distances would reveal them. But the most ardent supporters have given up on string theory, though, because it has too many free parameters and no predictions can be made because of that. I wish I were more knowledgeable. You seem to have a grasp on it, Mr. Burt.
I didn't know that string theory's been given up on because so many documentaries seem to love it for a long time.
And I just wanted to make you aware of the time, Jill.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah. And okay, I like how is it really such a hard cutoff?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Don't worry. I'm just making you aware of it so it's not a surprise when I say, all right, that's it.
Yeah, at the same time, I don't want to rush through this because
we're getting
to the main battle with Mephiles here in the chemical plant. And wow, why do they have the battle here in the chemical plant? It seems really reckless, like things are going to blow up. But I guess that's the point.
Well, and there were
anyway
in the original design for Mephiles, this isn't exactly a one-for-one adaptation of the original design, because in the original design, I think he wore a business suit, and so they were going to do that. And one of the influences that Ultraman, one of the other properties that Ultraman influenced apparently was Sailor Moon. So Tuxedo Mask was sort of based on Mephiles from the original series, which I thought was kind of neat.
Wow, I didn't know that. Oh, neat. Well, anyway, Ultraman first tries one of those cutters that worked against Zarab, but they don't work on Mephiles. So that tells us how much more powerful Mephiles is to Zarab. And he sends his laser or whatever kind of energy beam this is. Ultraman is able to redirect it. So defensively, they seem evenly matched, and they roll around and make things explode because they're at a chemical plant.
Yes.
and Mephiles tosses Ultraman down, and that's how a few more explosions happened. And then they land a heavy kick. He lands a heavy kick, and Ultraman is set flying, and so they're so evenly matched that their beams that they send each other are stop each other's easily.
Well, and then Mephiles sort of pushes forward, and it's almost it looks like Mephiles. It's like, is this the end of Ultraman?
Yes, it looks like he's going to overpower Ultraman after all. But then we see somebody in the background that I missed the first time I watched this, because I was just thinking this is the end of Ultraman. Oh no. So for some reason while I was watching this, I missed this. So,
and I recall. Yeah, I recall when you said, you were like, why does Mephiles just stop? Why does he stop?
See, because I even missed it in the slides. That in the background, Zafi was there. So it looks like another Ultraman, but he's gold.
Yes, and basically the same design as Ultraman, but slight
Mhm.
variations. But they're obviously sort of the same species or the same. They are ambassadors for the planet of light.
And that is the only reason why Mephiles takes his beta box and leaves.
But and it is a direct reference to the original show. Is that Mephiles does have a fight? They're pretty evenly matched. It looks like Mephiles is going to win, and then Mephiles says, "You know what? This isn't worth it. I don't care anymore. I don't want to fight you anymore. This is dumb. I'm leaving." And that is literally the resolution to one of the episodes of the original show. It isn't like this is a riff on that. But I do like how it's motivated here because Zoffy was observing from afar and he's like, "Oh no, now there might be two of you, or they're just going to destroy the planet. I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm pretty sure I don't want to be a part of it. So I'll see you later, Ultraman." And then he just beams away. He turns into
Yes.
cubes and goes away.
Exactly. That's exactly what happens. And I was so baffled because I missed seeing Zafi at the beginning. I was just like, here I am, the greatest orchestrator of everything, and now I demand my payment of undying worship and loyalty from humans. Oh, and also to be able to mine them like cattle as a resource for superior weapons like you, Ultraman. So this is my rewriting of what's happening. Oh no,
Mhm.
but now that we are in battle and it looks like I am more powerful and you are losing, I'm just gonna go. I'll leave now. Sorry to bother you. And so
Yeah.
that's what it feels like happens, but when you don't see Zafi lurking in the corner. And they do a close up to him, but for some reason I miss it.
But once
And that
so they return the beta box. Ultraman returns the beta box, and Mephiles leaves, and now he has to go.
Yes.
He has to go and confront his supervisor.
Right, to answer for his what he's done.
Yes. And this is great. Like, I do appreciate this because the team gets apprehended because they were part of the beta box absconding. And again, great shot, like showing the POV from the bottom of a
She's
crisps
got
bag.
all the snacks. Look at all the snacks.
See, you're
I'm gonna
having a
try
Yumi
these.
moment.
Yeah, but it's like, can you open all these and just try one from each of them and then just put it away?
Sure.
I would
Although
like
a lot of them taste like
I'd like to try.
prawns. A lot of seafood based snacks.
Kit Kat. I know Kit Kat.
Well, you start there.
Yeah.
Long
No,
man.
there's a lot of
You know.
there's a lot of cookies with dates in them. It looks like.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I'd try it all.
In terms of the fight, must be a health and safety nightmare, says Franco Walker. Greek letter says, "Don't try it, Mephiles. Ultraman has the high ground." Nope. Wrong movie again. Greek letters goes on to say, "I have to admit, it could be worse. They could have given the villain the name of Syphilis instead of Mephiles." I would definitely recommend checking out the movie Hudson Hawk because apparently the bad guy team, their code names were STDs. It's funny. Anyway,
that is
back
funny.
to the show.
But back to the show. The other nations of the world are threatening. It gets really extreme. They're threatening nuclear war if they're not brought in on what's happening. That is crazy. The U.S. are around, and they'll probably want to kidnap anyone who knows about Ultraman's human form. But at the same time, the team is being locked away, but they also want them to get back to work, so they let them get back to headquarters.
But it's so great how they're apprehended as well. It's like, don't worry, let them do their jobs. They're just going to take us into isolation. And
yeah,
You must be working with Ultraman.
Yumi packs up all her snacks and they go back.
Yes. And so this is where we get the negotiation with Zoffy.
And also Ultraman's real name, Lipia.
Yes.
Lipia?
But luckily the movie doesn't even make us remember that for too long, because he says, "Oh, you took this man's life, Lipia. Actually, no, I will call you what these Earth people call you, Ultraman."
Yes. And
Like,
so
it's just
the alien, so it's just, it is. Ultraman is fun to say. And Zoffy's really extreme. He wants to kill all humans. And Ultraman tells him he's curious about humanity, that they would sacrifice to save each other.
Right. And this is sort of an elevation of the storytelling. I know Greek letters wanted to see more rock'em sock'em kaiju robots, but like, this is where we start talking about, okay, the nature of interference on a planet and the drive of humanity and hope, and what is the nature of life, and how do they deal with death? Because Ultraman, from the members of the planet of light, they have such a long lifespan, and it's like, why would you do this for these people? What is all of this?
And not only does he do that, he wants to understand humanity so much that he merges with the human. And apparently that's forbidden. I didn't realize that's against the rules. But so Zoffy says, "You broke the code of the planet of light." And he says, I'm now the watcher of the indigenous creatures called humans on this planet. So and so therefore, the humanity of this planet will likely evolve the same way we have, says Zoffy. So he's decided that we have to dispose of them because they're going to be like us.
Well, and it's almost like it's the next level up. Like, Mephiles isn't part of the planet of light, but Zoffy is. So Zoffy's probably more powerful than Mephiles, because Zoffy is a full-on planet of light person. And so Mephiles is like, oh, I can't beat him. At least Ultraman was half human. And it's like, oh no, Zoffy is like, if we leave these guys, they could become as powerful as us. And we do not want that. They would be a threat.
Right. And Ultraman has proven that with his by fusing with human. And Zoffy says, that's your mistake. That's why we're gonna destroy them, because they can be used as a bioweapon. And so the best decision is to prune them. Yeah, we got to prune humanity. And it won't be a problem, because there are billions of other life forms. There's 13 billion intelligent life forms. So we can stand to lose one. And Ultraman says, for the inhabitants of this planet, one is all there is. Of course, there's some contention with that, because dolphins are pretty smart, but we're not worried about that.
Well, I think what until recently, there haven't been any aliens. So it's like, if there are 13 billion intelligent races in the universe, then what humans didn't know that until like a week ago.
Right. They didn't. And Ultraman's holding on to Kaminaga's dog tags, and the real Kaminaga disappears.
And he's fully absorbed into Ultraman, as far as I can. That's what I garnered from it.
Oh, that's what that is? Okay. Okay, the review is over, says Greek Letters Larson. Tune in next week for a European movie where noble Teutonic knights defend their fatherhood from evil communists. What? No. We're not finished. We've got to meet Zayton, which is the ultra killer fidget spinner
Final boss.
Yeah, it really just looks like a fidget spinner.
It does.
And it gets bigger and bigger at first. It changes shape, though.
Well, and again, it's not a direct adaptation. When we do get to Zeton, it's not a direct adaptation, and apparently there was some controversy in the redesign or the reimagining of Zeton. But seeing as this is the first time that I'd ever seen Zeton, I was fine with him.
Was too. Zeton changes shape and starts to form and start to look more like an alien, but it looks more like a machine alien.
But again, I don't know what the powers are of the people of the planet of light. So maybe Zeton is, because again, this was another character that would have just been a guy in a suit, but he is, but also he is. I think he looks like an Evangelion character, like almost like a tech alien monster.
But he functions as a doomsday machine.
Yes. Ooh. Greek letter says Zayton, like Satan. That is kind of familiar, but I can't remember exactly. Yes, I think Zayton is, that's how, because apparently one of the things that he does from the original is just announce his own name in a bass like.
Yeah, and so everybody keeps calling the team. They want Ultraman to save them from Zayton. And this is where they mention a bit of religion. Humans have always prayed to God when desperate, and Ultraman is now the closest thing that they have in terms of being saved from destruction by this thing.
But again, we do have the Planet of Light Prime Directive.
Right. But he still shows up.
I like how he's still doing the suit. He's dressed as if he's going to work every day. Good for you for being professional, Ultraman.
Right? He could wear anything he wants.
No capes. No capes.
Right. But they say, Kaminanga or Ultraman, you're going to be in trouble if you stay here. And then so that happens almost immediately. The government, I guess, comes and their goons try to say, you got to come with us. And Ultraman says no. And it's an interesting exchange here because they're trying to take Ultraman by force because they don't trust him and they want to control him. The Japanese government wants to control him. And Ultraman says, I don't get involved with human society. I'm merely an observer and I'm not a threat to you. But the representative for Japanese government says, sadly, an overwhelming majority of the international community doesn't trust you. If you won't come with us, we can't guarantee the lives of SSSP, that's a threat. Intimidation is a terrible thing for a human to do. So you do also see Ultraman, as much as he loves humanity, he also is disappointed with them sometimes too, in terms of how they're behaving right now.
Well, and again, it's bureaucracy and fear and government agencies. Oddly or interestingly enough, the character or the actor who is playing this government representative also was a government representative in Shin Godzilla, and then later on ends up playing another government agent in Shin Kamen Rider, which I won't get into, but he is the one of the main characters who shows up in the 3 live action Shin movies. And when asked, he's like, someone asked him, and it's like, are you the same character in all 3 movies? And he's like, well, not really. No one told me I was. I kind of play it that way, but I don't know. So it's
a mystery.
It's a mystery. Again, he's like one of the men in black. He's the one above SSSSP. SSSP.
Yeah.
I'm using my fingers to count this.
But since the government threatened his team or his friends, he throws that right back out them and says, "I won't hesitate to wipe out the humans before Zayton does. If you carry that out, if you hurt them, like it's all over. All hope is gone. I guess." Isn't that intimidation too? And he says, "It's negotiating on equal ground. If you wish for humans to live, please refrain from futile attempts to meddle with SSSP." And so that gets the government off their backs. And Yumi, okay, so this is the part where Ultraman goes from saving humanity every single time there's a problem to giving humanity what they need to figure it out themselves. Ultraman gives them a USB stick with something on it, and we don't know what it is yet, but it's going to be what they'll use to save the day. Because they're staring at this doomsday machine, and either at first they do try to get Ultraman to defeat it. He's either going to succeed or not, and Asami says, "Let's do it." And this is where she slaps Ultraman's butt, and away he goes. And that's what's going to happen soon.
I like that.
Oh, right. The
a
thing,
Terra Kelvin ball of fire. A Terra Kelvin? That's 1 trillion degrees.
I forgot that it's not just going to destroy Earth, it's going to destroy the entire solar system.
Yes. You take off, nuke the site from orbit. That's the only way to be sure.
Yeah. Well, it's overkill.
Eugene Bird asks you and I, and chat, who is your favorite character in this film? I'll go first. I gotta say my favorite character is Tamura, the captain, because I don't know. I like him a lot. It goes to Captain Tamura, then it goes to Asami, and then it goes to Kamenaga, because Kamenaga is pretty much a blank slate. He's dry white toast. But Ultraman,
except
Ultraman
for that he makes the choice to save that little kid. So that's the only personality he has, that he's willing to give up his life to save another. Yes. But that's all we know about him.
You like I like them all. It's an ensemble cast. I really enjoy. Mephiles. I forgot about Mephiles. Like I can't choose.
Oh, Mephiles is great. Yeah, it is difficult. It's a difficult choice, even though I'm more like Yumi. My favorite character is Asami. I appreciate her strength and her willingness to go above and beyond and get messy. She's not afraid to get messy.
Have you started smacking your own ass?
No.
Not yet.
I haven't. Nor anybody else's.
Oh, damn it. The Japanese government wants to control it. What next? They want to invade Manchuria? Yes, that is what I heard. Greek letter says, "Well, Eugene, my favorite character from this movie is the coffee cup."
It's a nice coffee cup. Here, if that's nice your favorite character.
Yes.
If we're gonna play that game, my favorite character is Enterprise.
Is the Enterprise? Yeah, that makes sense. DJ Knight says, the women? The women!
The women?
Are his favorite characters, which makes sense.
The women!
Yeah. So this is Zayton going into his final form, or its final form, the Terra Kelvin fireball machine. And I love how it just hovers there, and you can see it from Earth, and everyone's just like, "Oh, crap. I wonder what that's going to do."
Yeah. They seem to know it's nothing good. Like not everybody knows that it's gonna kill everyone, but a enough people know. At least the people involved know. The general populace don't.
No. But that's the beauty of it, is that it is the government's decision to essentially say, well. So he does a bunch of stuff. He's throwing he's doing his spacium beam. He's shooting his spacium shurikens. He actually uses a power that we haven't seen yet. He's got like a spacium shield that, as it gets shot at, eventually shatters away. But yeah, no, Ultraman kind of gets his ass kicked here.
He does. His weapons won't work, and the Zaton weapons are too powerful. And it, like you said, it depletes the shield, and he's thrust back down through the atmosphere of Earth. Kind of like that guy who was taken up by Red Bull, and he jumped out of his airplane in that suit. Oh, and they say the line. They say the line. Hold on. Twice in this movie.
Resistance is futile.
And that's told to Ultraman to stand aside and await humanity's purge. But he refuses. He believes in humans, and he's going to resist until the end.
And then he falls in the ocean.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with Ultraman defeated, humanity has admitted defeat themselves. Ultraman was really their only hope, the only one who has protected them thus far. So the Prime Minister decided not to tell the other Earthlings that they're about to be completely annihilated, so that they don't panic and they have a good last day, because it's something they can't do anything about. It's so sad. This is sad seeing humanity just give up. But Yumi was given that USB stick, so she has not given up.
Well, yeah. And so this is actually, it's kind of an interesting montage, just seeing everybody going about their day to day, not knowing about the impending doom.
Yeah, it is. And they're completely unaffected by it.
Well, what would you do if you found out the world was going to end tomorrow? Drugs. Lots of drugs.
Oh no, I would get on an airplane and go somewhere fun.
No, but there's nowhere fun to go. You wouldn't be able to get there in time. Have fun in your own backyard. And this is what I mean, is that Captain Tamura, what is he doing? Drugs. He's just chain smoking like there's no tomorrow, because as far as he knows, there is
no tomorrow. And Taki's doing the same thing, but with alcohol.
Yes. But and this is also where Yumi shows her optimism and yeah, that's why we have wisdom, resilience, and courage. It's a biological weapon, and it must have a weakness. If it bleeds, we can kill it.
That's my favorite quote is, despair weakens the spirit. It feels better to have hope. But Taki says that's ridiculous. It doesn't matter what we do. We're useless, totally useless. He's feeling really powerless against this because Ultraman couldn't defeat it. So he thinks there's no hope. And
that's interesting. And that's why I say it like that. Yeah. And then as Taki says, hope, that's ridiculous. And then Yumi says, well, no. Kaminaga didn't think so.
Yeah. And so, I've got this information here. And so he's translated the basic physics of the beta system into human language, into human written language, so that they could understand. And it's actually written here. It's really interesting.
Well, and this report, the beta system report, is actually, it was released as a promotional document when the movie was coming out. So you can find this online somewhere. I didn't have an opportunity to. Oh yeah, if you're into the math there, Jill.
Oh, well, I mean, I can't say I understand any of it because I don't know the new field U, what that even means. The human beings have not discovered it yet.
Well, but it's kind of like reading the Star Trek Next Generation technical manual. I don't know what a Heisenberg compensator actually does, but they sure make the jargon sound plausible in the book.
They do. Well, it compensates for the Heisenberg principle of not knowing where the particles are and all that.
See? Technobabble, it's good enough.
Ah,
So, but yeah, like Franco, I would get very drunk and stoned. And Greek Letters says party like it's 1999. And DJ Knight has an even better
Yes,
one. Like, I don't, and it is like, I think I'm being more tacky. And DJ Knight, you're being more Yumi. I prefer to remain sober. And that is clearer heads prevail in this instinct. Like, it is better to keep a level head and not pretend or not accept, not acquiesce to your imminent doom when there's still a problem you can solve. So DJ Knight, I think you've just been promoted to team captain.
oh, nice. Well done. Congratulations, DJ Knight.
FKHC 2005 says, I would say if I was a leader and the world was ending, okay, folks, the world is coming to an end. All laws are hereby revoked. Have fun. Yeah, see, I don't think that would be beneficial. I think it would be something where it would be best to allow people to be blissful in their ignorance and go about their lives.
Well, we don't have Mephiles anymore, but I think the adage that he might say if he saw this is, if you give a man a fish, you can eat for a day. If you teach him how to fish, he can go fishing on his own every day. I don't remember exactly how it goes, but that's the essential idea of what this is. Ultraman is giving humanity the ability to use the beta box technology, but in a way that they'll actually understand it and be able to use it. So he's converted all this information into something that humans can understand, because he wants humans to use their knowledge to create it for themselves.
And it does invigorate Taki with hope.
Mm-hmm. It does. And that's the hope that Ultraman gives to humanity. And Taki, you take it from here. And he does.
Well, and it's so great. And because everyone does their, again, I just realized it right now, is that, as I've said with so many times on watching Star Trek, I love people doing their jobs. And this is, everybody gets to fulfill their jobs throughout this movie. Mm-hmm. Following basically SHIELD or SSSP. It's great. Everybody's doing their job. Everyone's trying to figure out how to make this work. What do we do? Scientific method. And everyone gets to step up to the plate to have their own character moments. It's fantastic.
Yeah, they even mentioned the Higgs field, which of course is a real thing. The Higgs boson was discovered. And so this is cool stuff. So he says, if we utilize the dimensional transfer principle, maybe we can shift Zayton's heat energy into the Planck brain. And so he has a global summit of scholars to talk with, but he uses this virtual reality goggles to have the meeting. So it's kind of like being with them in 3D, but it's virtually.
Yeah, it's literally a PlayStation VR headset. Mm-hmm. That is exactly what it is. All right, Jill.
Yes.
Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to change locations. And while there may be a bit of background noise, which I don't think will be much, I will do my best to continue if you just give me a couple of minutes to relocate.
Okay. And I'll continue, and I'll be here when you return.
All right. Please stand by.
Okay. And I can just read some of the dialogue in this film. It's so good. We'll gather the whole of human knowledge and derive a formula for defeating Zayton. So this, and I can also read the chat. Hmm? And still, my voice is still recovering, so be patient with me. Dionysus, says Eugene Bird. The Japanese government wants to control it. See what else we have here. Let me guess, they're fighting somewhere where the aftermath of the battle will be minimal, like downtown. Yeah, pretty much, because the whole drama of humanity figuring out how to defend themselves is what's most important here. That they were given the tools to win on their own rather than always relying on Ultraman exclusively. So he wants humanity to be more independent. Party like it's 1999. Yeah, it's a good song. I don't know. No one's going to read the manual. We'll do the classic approach to find out how Mother Box works. Start pressing random buttons. Yeah. Well, Taki figures it out, but he doesn't do it by himself. He does have that. He does have that form with everybody. Once dead, I won't remember that fun time. So Rai Rush should do something right at the end. Take it stoically, humans. I guess. Greek letters Larson says, death is the beginning. You'll wake up to white sand beaches, and after that, all green plains where the eye can see. Wrong movie again. Oh, that reminds me of one of my favorite quotes from Lord of the Rings. Because, let's see. When Pippin says, I didn't think it would end this way. And Gandalf says, end? No, the journey doesn't end here. Death is just another path, one that we all must take. The gray rain curtain of this world rolls back, and all turns to silver glass. And then you see it. Pippin says, what? Gandalf. See what? And Gandalf says, white shores and beyond a far green country under a swift sunrise. And Pippin says, well, that isn't so bad. And Gandalf replies, no, it is not. And so thank you for reminding me of that. So I like it. It's a meeting of the greatest minds in the world, but it also looks really funny from this vantage point. It looks funny from here. But they gather the whole of human knowledge to derive a formula for defeating Zayton. And Chaki's idea is that humanity can survive by using what Kaminaga left on that USB. And it appears, so now Ultraman is ready to fight again with this new information. Of course, Ultraman could have done this the whole time, but he wanted humanity to figure it out themselves. And so that's the whole message here, is that Ultraman is not supposed to be a god. He's more like a teacher. It appears to have entered its final firing position. And so that means, of course, that this Doomsday Machine is about to fire. And Ultraman has just seconds. Using your theorem, we were able to derive a single method to defeat Zayton. Igniting the Beetle capsule twice will open a sixth-dimensional hole to the planked brain. You will have 1 millisecond to focus your resulting gravity wave on the Zayton fireball's heat energy and push Zayton through the extra-dimensional opening into the plank brain. And I like that Ultraman says, okay, I see what you're saying. After transforming, I have to hit Zayton in 1 millisecond. Yeah. Oh, basically, you just punch it in the face. They don't. Oh, okay. I will be right back after these messages. I need just a few seconds.
Mr. Turtle, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
I never made it without biting. Ask Mr. Owl, for he is the wisest of us all.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
A good question. Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 3.
If there's anything I can't stand, it's a smart owl.
How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
Timing. Can you hear me? Let's see. Testing. Yeah, it looks like you can. Oscar Klein and Thomas Kaluza were the first to propose a fifth dimension. And it turns out if you add a fifth dimension to the tensors, in general relativity, you get electromagnetism instead of just gravity. I don't know, G. Okay, but it made other incorrect predictions, so it was abandoned in the 1930s. Actually, Einstein kept playing with it until his death in 1955. Yes, I do hear of Einstein. He wanted to unite the forces with gravity, and yeah, definitely wanted to figure that out. Unification in physics was something he had all those thought experiments up until the end of his life trying to sort that out.
All right, it is approximately 4 degrees outside, but that is where I've been relocated to. So I have all the time in the world.
Uh-oh, but you're cold. Do you have a jacket and a scarf?
Oh, don't worry about it. I will not die. I promised I will never die.
Well, and that's exactly what the humans are afraid of with Ultraman. They're saying, what will happen to Ultraman? And even as Ultraman's flying away, he tells Asami that he'll be right back.
Yes.
But unfortunately, they know that's not true. We predict he'll be caught in the event and sent to a parallel dimension. And
the plank brain?
Yeah, the plank
brain. Isn't he going to get sucked into the plank brain?
Yes. And so we see that occur. Ultraman wants to save humanity, even at the expense of himself, and that's why this is happening. And it was so trippy with everything that happened there.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
See, because Kaminaga wakes up and discovers that the SSSP has used the information that was given to them.
Well,
And
this is
so,
just the humans figuring out what's going on.
well, they've figured out what to do, but they do know that they need Ultraman as a catalyst to make it happen.
Promise you'll come back. That's it.
Now, this is the classic Ultraman transformation animation. And if you go back one.
Oh, okay. I might end up going back too.
There you go. This one. So, promise you'll come back, Clark. This. So you'll notice that there's the red background and he enlarges 3 times. There's a wicked sound effect that goes with it. But the imperfections behind, it looks like almost like a wavy paint design or a wrinkled paper or fabric design. That is to pay homage to the original, which was supposed to be just a flat red background. But because there were imperfections, they recreated that here. Just to be true to the original.
Cool. Nice. Just like they had half an alien because they never finished the back. And Ultraman. Okay, so Ultraman is rushing to break through Zayton at just the right place and the right time, and using the right method, using the instructions given to him by the physicists on Earth and what they calculated. And he ends up in a spinny, glowy ball.
Well, that's the Tera Kelvin.
Oh.
The Tera Kelvin heat ball that's going to wipe out the entire solar system.
But his spinny, glowy ball collides with the spinny, glowy ball attached to the Zayton, and that's the one that's supposed to destroy the solar system. I missed all the technical terms that you're saying. What's it called again?
Oh, the Tera Kelvin fireball. And he pushes it into Zayton, and that puts him through the Planck brain, and everything goes sort of inverted, and Ultraman is trying to fly out of it because it's basically some sort of like black hole singularity that is sucking everybody over into the Planck brain. And it's BRANE, like membrane, not BRAIN, thinking brain.
But it's crazy, black and white, but everything's inverted.
Yes.
And
it's really pretty cool.
So is the black hole actually a white hole? I don't know. It is cool. Actually, I've seen this. This happens it happens in Star Trek, the animated series, where instead of the universe being black, it's all white. Everything's inverted. Everything's backwards, and somebody's grandpa looks like a toddler. It's an interesting episode.
Negazone.
Yeah, he's in this crazy. So Ultraman's in this crazy universe, and I mean, he said he was coming back, but when you're stuck in another dimension, I don't know. It seems like kind of difficult.
Well, you can go back to the whole Jesus ripoff. I'll return. There will be a second coming of Ultraman.
I hope so. Ultraman, open your eyes. And so the little lights turn on.
Yes.
I love that part. And of course it's Zafi. Masami is upset. She's crying.
Yes. And it is emotional. It's like, imagine if at the end of the first Avengers, Iron Man never came back.
Yeah. Well, and then this is the big speech with Zophie.
Basically, you have done wrong. You have violated our laws. You have merged with a human. And now you must return to the planet of light to atone for your crimes.
But meanwhile, Ultraman is talking about how much he loves humanity's bravery, intellect, and vitality. Oh, no, wait. Is that Zoffy that says that? Zoffy says it. I respect humanity's bravery, intellect, and vitality that let you defeat Zayton. So Ultraman kind of changed Zoffy's mind.
Yes.
And he
because,
says,
yeah.
because
Keep going.
Zoffy says they're too precious to destroy. So he's figured it out. But go ahead. No, I want you to go. Please go.
In the original, Zoffy is much more like, he is Ultraman's supervisor, but he's more benevolent. He's not trying. He doesn't want to prune the human race. But in this one, he becomes, the wielder of the final boss in Zayton. But now it is an acceptance because of the lessons that Ultraman or Lapita had learned. And so there is an understanding between the two beings from the planet of light. And it enlightens Zoffy. And Zoffy is like, okay. And it becomes more of a negotiation, because now, as Ultraman has sacrificed himself for the human race, his final act is, well, what about Kaminaga? Like, can we give him back? Can I give him back the part of his life that I absorbed? Can he still go on? And the Zoffy's like, no, we can't do that. And there's even more and it's like, I'll stay here. If you want to punish me, I'll stay here and I'll absorb into Kaminaga. And it's like, are you sure you want to do that? Because they're so much
then
more
you're
fragile
gonna die.
You're going to die. And that's where this line that's on screen right now, the acceptance of death is the same as the desire for life.
Yes, to be human is to accept death. Human lives are far shorter than ours. I want him to live. His partner and friends feel likewise. I wish to grant them this. And Zoffy says, have you become so fond of humans? Very well. I will grant you your wish. And this is what that everything you said. That's exactly what is occurring. Is Ultraman's love for humanity is so great that he is willing to give himself up for this one life. And obviously he shared his wisdom with humanity before he goes. And unfortunately, it seems like he won't be able to go back. Asami won't be able to see his buddy.
Well, we don't know.
Mm-hmm. Unless a bit of Ultraman remains in Kaminaga, I don't really know.
Well, and it is ambiguous.
It is.
We never actually get to find out.
See, because Ultraman wants to be himself and stay on Earth, but that's not allowed. So he has to give up his form, and he can use his life to save Kaminaga, but that's all he can do. Or go home, or go home to the land of the light. And so he doesn't want to do that other one.
Well, he would be happy to face consequences, but he just doesn't want to have to be responsible for the death of Kaminaga.
Exactly.
Which he is.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he killed him when he landed. He was trying to save humans, but accidentally killed one.
And so
his body's merged with Kaminaga.
And Kaminaga's eyes open. Mm-hmm. And we get a POV shot, last shot of the film. And this is my only problem with the movie. It's the only problem I have with the movie. Is that Asami says, welcome back. And I wish beyond belief, because like I've seen this movie like 4 times already. And the last thing that I always say is just say hi, buddy. Just say hi, buddy. I wish she had said, hey, buddy. But no dice, no luck. Just says welcome back. But I still think it's a really touching ending because we don't know what happens. We don't know if it's just going to be, instead of an Ultraman who is absorbed a human, now it's a human who absorbed an Ultraman. Does Kaminaga have any knowledge of does he have any memory of what has occurred over the last 2 weeks? We don't know.
Yeah, an epilogue would have been really nice to know
I like the
what was going
ambiguity.
on.
I like the ambiguity.
You said you didn't like it. What was your problem with it then, if you like it?
No, my problem is that I wanted her to say hello, buddy.
Oh, that would have been so cute.
I thought that would have been a nice little cute bookend, because
Well,
when they meet, it's like, you're my new buddy. And it's like, welcome back, buddy. He fulfilled his promise. Kaminaga's alive.
But the problem with that is that it would answer your question. He does have memories of being Ultraman.
Oh, no, I'm not saying Kaminaga has to say anything. I just want Asami to say, hey, buddy, or welcome back, buddy.
Asami, okay. Gotcha.
It's one of those things, because I get emotional about some stuff. And so when that happened, I start to well up in emotion and hoping that she's going to say, welcome back, buddy. And then it doesn't happen. And then all of the emotion drains from my cold, dead heart.
Oh, no. But you know what should have happened. So,
hey,
and I would like to know if Ultraman still exists in any form or fashion. Hey, hello, Tiger Stripes.
I haven't seen this, but I remember people raving about how good it was. Well,
good.
Please feel free to check out the replay, because we have been just doing nothing but patting the back of Ultraman this entire time.
Yeah, I enjoyed it so much that I'm having a live stream, even though my voice is still recovering. But I had to talk about this movie. But that is the question: does he remember being Ultraman as Kaminaga?
Well, it's social media still, then all of it is well documented and on the internet, so he can find out what happened during his Ultraman bender.
Well, and really, since humanity now knows about the beta box, they can make their own giant defense forces.
Well, they know about the beta plane, like they have the beta system. I guess they could make a beta box.
Yeah.
Especially if you have Tacky on your side.
I just really love this movie. It's really great and fun, and I love that they focus so much on the characters. The characters were really great, and I love the aliens. They were very devious and sinister, and I thought the fights were really cool. It was a perfect story for me.
Yeah, the escalation going from kaiju to infiltration aliens to we want to take over the world aliens to we're going to destroy the solar system aliens to, oh, wait, hang on a second. There is hope here. And not only does Zoffy learn that and the people of the planet of light, but also humanity learns it as well. I think it all works so very, very well. It's hopeful. It's heartwarming. I really, again, A+, 5 out of 5.
Yeah, it's A+ for me too. Humans are, well, at first they feel powerless in the face of all this disaster and technology, and then Ultraman gives them the knowledge to be able to prove themselves and help defeat Zatan. So I think it was really beautiful.
Absolutely. All right.
Oh man, and the kaijus were fun at the beginning to help establish Ultraman, and the villains were cool. I don't know, the designs also were really neat. I'd never seen designs like this, even though they've existed for since the 60s. So I'm glad to be in on the secret now.
It reminded you of Pokemon. Now you know where Pokemon
It did. Yeah, I know. Well, I do realize that now. Pokemon did borrow a lot from this stuff. And I'm fine with it. It's so cool.
Well, thank you. Like I am going to go now just because I am freezing.
You should.
That didn't take long.
Yeah, go back inside. Yeah.
Yeah. But I did want to
made
finish
it through
off
the whole
review.
movie. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So I'm sorry about the shuffle. I'm assuming next week we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming. I know that we have a Thanksgiving tomorrow, and then a whole bunch of shopping riots on Friday.
I won't be taking party to that.
I hope everybody has a pleasant holiday weekend. Enjoy the football, the turkey, the shopping, and everything. And thank you again for watching this with me. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And again, thanks to Hungry Boy for introducing it to me, because it has made me so very, very happy. I hope that we get to do both Shin Godzilla and Shin Kamen Rider at some point. But yeah, this is a great universe to play in. We don't have to do it in a row. We can just, it'll be in the back burner until when we are looking for something else.
Yeah, when we have the time, we'll get to it. Is there anything you wanted to share?
I think everything is pretty much everybody's taking the week off just for the holiday. So as usual, please subscribe to Cinema Gulp. I hang out there. Check out the Phantasmagorium. I review stuff with Kat over there. And obviously, I hang out with Jill a lot of the time. And everybody, thank you so much for the chat. I would say all your names. You know who you are. Thank you for playing. I can't feel my fingers or toes, so I'm going to go in now.
No, please go inside. I can't believe you were just like Ultraman. You're sacrificing your physical well-being for the good of the community. Well done. But go
Thanks,
inside.
buddy.
Good one.
I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you again.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you, Scotty. And thank you for introducing me to this. This was so cool. And I really, really, really loved this movie. It was so much fun. So much fun to explore this is a whole new universe for me. And I know that this just scratches the surface of what this kind of fiction can offer. I haven't even begun to explore all the Ultraman kaiju stuff, and so of course I knew that there was so much amazing things that Japan has created narratively that I should explore, but I haven't had the time to. I always know everybody talks about anime and how great all of that is also, and it's just too much for me to decide where to start. But apparently I've started outside of that realm and just went straight into the kaijus, which is really great. And speaking of anime, if you want to know somebody who's an expert on anime, Eugene Bird has drawn attention to that here. Raquel SSG will be streaming on Thanksgiving for anyone who's lonely on Thanksgiving. I think there's a lot of people who are going to be streaming that day too for that purpose. So no one needs to feel alone on Thanksgiving because there are going to be so many streams for that. Of course, if I do have a family, so I am going to need to spend time with them. But if you need someone to talk to on Thanksgiving, YouTube will be a great resource for that. And so I'll of course share Raquel's channel here, so you can hang out with her. And that should be lovely because Raquel is such a wonderful person. And here it is. Here's her channels, both of them. Her regular channel and also her gaming channel. She also has a gaming channel. And I wonder, well, and I guess Scotty told me what's coming up next in terms of exploring this universe further. The Shin Godzilla and whatever else he said. There's just so many. Who knows what we're doing? I guess I'll have to rewind to realize what that is. But here's Raquel SSG's link. We've got her channel. Oh no, I kind of messed up on it a little bit. Let me fix it. I got to put a space there. Okay, space added because if you click on her link, it's not going to work. So let's try again. There, that fixes it. So that's the one I want to share. Let's share that one. And I want to do something before I say goodbye to you guys. I want to fix some things. I've got, since it's gonna be a snowstorm. That's why it's 4 degrees where Scotty R37 is. And I decided that whenever it starts snowing where he lives, I'm going to bring out the Christmas, like, it's not necessarily the Christmas tree, but it's my version of the Christmas tree for my channel, which is the GIF of the Enterprise with a snowy backdrop. And I love this GIF so much. I had used it last year with the refit Enterprise. Oh, actually, that's Enterprise A. Excuse me. And the snow on the little neighborhood there. And of course, I know it's technically ridiculous to have the Enterprise in Earth's lower atmosphere like this, but I don't care. It's pretty and festive. So you have to deal with it for a few months. Now that it's gotten cold enough. And so I'm gonna switch everything to that now. Before I go. Before I leave you guys, I'm doing that. And I've got a few of them that I have to fix. Because on StreamYard, you have several, at least up to 10 different brands. So I have to change all the brands. Because the next time I come back, I want to be ready. If I have a shore leave at any point. Because who knows what's gonna happen over the Thanksgiving holidays. I don't plan to stream, but if I decide to, then my backgrounds will be ready. So you're just seeing a little bit of the production of the show, which is just me adding GIFs or images to the backgrounds and changing the upper right-hand corner GIF or image. And so that's what I'm doing. Change it to the Star Trek, the animated series GIF in the corner, and using the Star Trek Enterprise A with the snow background. Almost done. One more. I uploaded. Oh, well, I guess this one uses that one. Because the reason why this one is Next Generation GIF is because this is my Best of Both Worlds videos. So I have all the videos from Best of Both Worlds here.
Well, what the hell are you still doing here?
Yeah, because the review is over. I finished reviewing Shin Godzilla, but I wanted to spend a little time with you guys just thanking you for hanging out with me today and exploring this new universe with me. It's my first time getting into it, and I hope to learn more about it. And yeah, yay, Snowy Enterprise. Yes, I like it. I'll be changing my icon pic next month. Ziggy will be wearing a Santa hat. Oh, that'll be cute. Yeah, I like that. But I appreciated this movie. I want to see more, and I'm glad you guys were here with me. So thank you for being here, Scotty R37, to teach, to show me about this movie. He's new to this universe too, but he's seen a little bit more of it than I have. But I also want to thank everybody else who was also here with me, who joined in on the conversation. Great conversation, lots of funny stuff. You guys are hilarious. Thank you so much, FKHC 2005, Low Spec Linux Gaming, Low Spec Linux Gaming. This Saturday, I'm continuing my Fallout series. Hopefully, I can do as well as I did last time and keep moving forward to obtain that water chip. I definitely want to make some sort of progress towards that. And one of the things I'm going to do is I hopefully, so should I, so look, if you're in the chat, Low Spec Linux Gaming, after I finish defeating the Skull Gang, should I go to the hub or where should I go after? Where I am. I forgot where I even am. I just know it's some place where there are a lot of gangs and I got dog meat and I got all these other companions. I got a whole gang with me. And now I'm talking about Fallout, the original game. When I should be leaving. But I wanted to put that out there. And I also wanted to thank Franco Walker and Max Redstone. Max Redstone was here too. Oh, give me just a second. Since I was talking about Fallout, I'm gonna play this to fill in the time. I'll be right back.
Vault Tech presents growing up. You're growing up. And other things are changing too. You know what that means. Pip-Boy 3000. Part of your life. With Pip-Boy, all life's answers are in sight.
Pip-Boy 3000, part of your life. Pip-Boy 3000, part of your life. With Pip-Boy, all life's answers are in sight. That's right.
I really like that commercial. I also wanted to thank Greek Letters Larson for all of his hilarious chats, and also that I appreciate your opinions. And also Wes Cagle. Thank you, Wes Cagle. Thank you, DJ Ronnie G. All the DJs we had here today, DJ Ronnie G, DJ Knight, and DJ Play Nice, who's watching this on on the replay, or I'm not sure exactly. But in any capacity that you're here, I thank you. Frank Walker says, "What the hell is that?" Oh, it's from Fallout. It's a little commercial about a Pip-Boy, which is, of course, in Fallout, the device that you use to help with combat and everything. Overrun with DJs. I know. All I was missing was Deej Odyssey. I also here today was Matt G. Matt G was here. And Gorilla's Random Thoughts, although Gorilla's Random Thoughts changed his name to Gorilla's Censored Thoughts because he puts things in the chat and Google makes it disappear. He's not happy about that. And we also had Gavin Blackburn, Eugene Bird. Words and Pictures even showed up, which is a special treat. I don't see Words and Pictures too often, so that was awesome to see him. Euler Greg and Canadian Spider-Man. I'm not sure what Canadian Spider-Man is doing. Hopefully enjoying all the hard work he did this year, chopping wood and actually being able to burn it now. And thank you also to Lemon Pie, Brogu, Penny, and Tiger Stripes. Oh, right. I didn't even look to see what Tiger Stripes said in the chat. Happy Thanksgiving. Love y'all, which is perfect because that's what I should say. Is a happy Thanksgiving to you all. Happy Thanksgiving Eve. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving with your friends and family. And remember that that there's some of those friends here on YouTube too if you need that service. There will be lots of wonderful people streaming, including Doomcock. I'm sure is also going to be streaming on Thanksgiving, and I'm sure you won't have any shortage of company to discover here on this platform. But maybe I should go while I still have a voice and rest it a little bit so that I can play with you next time. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. This was an out of sync show because I didn't want to go into the holidays without having talked about this, because if I waited, it would be too late and I'm moving on to some other movies. So and for my new member Gary Ambrosia, I apologize. I have not yet updated my closing video to include you in the membership list, but I will be updating that soon. I promise. And I will see you all next time. Thank you. And it really did work to write down all the names. It was a lot better than having to scroll through everything. I was very happy with that. And I'll see you guys later. Bye now.
Learn all that is learnable.
And the ways our differences combine to create meaning and beauty.
It has always been easier to destroy than to create.
May we together become greater than the sum of both of us.
Well, now you have something new to think about. Carry on.
All right, move along. Done. Stop it. Get off of the things. Go outside. Get some food. It's like, you know, it's a time of day where you live. Go do something. Shut up, Snoopy. I don't care. You smoke too much. Let's go. Let's go adventure. Let's go explore.
初出動ね。またやな。虫が多くてやだ。何言ってんの。気合い入れていくわよ。